Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here.
And Bluedragonfive. Hey, folks. So, as you've probably noticed, we're talking about the Baltimore Comic Con because Tiki and we've both been on trips. We've been little globetrotters. Him more around the globe, me more around, near the closer by. But yeah. So we've he's kind of been sprinkling in his trip here and there. For such as the recent hijinks. Little kind of like a little spoke from the wheel on that journey, right?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, like, there's a lot from my trip that has remained unsaid, specifically like the bad stuff that's happened. So
Yep.
I don't know. Maybe along the way, I don't want to. I don't want to derail this, but maybe I can work in a couple more antidotes, especially when I'm at a lack for things to say on my own. So I don't know. We'll kind of see. I don't want to steal attention away from you, but there's definitely stuff that hasn't been said about my trip yet.
All right, so suffice to say, folks, last year there was no con, hence no, kind of video about the Baltimore Comic Con. It didn't happen last year, so it's been a long spell. No that, no Monster Mania, nada. So it feels. I mean, it's been less than 2 years, but it feels like it's been 2 years. And because things have still not let up as much as we had hoped. But it was back, and I went. And I'm going to tell Tiki about what happened. Tiki, as per kind of some of our preferred formats here, Tiki knows nothing.
Nada.
He gets nothing. He knows nothing. He sees nothing. He's Private Schultz.
Pretty much, yeah.
So I'm going to inform him and you, the viewer, on how the trip went. And again, for no added fees, no surprise charges, I'm going to give you a bonus because I love you. I'm going to give you a bonus. I'm going to tell you what happened at the Monster Mania con as well. I'm going to sprinkle that in a little amateur Nolan-esque. I'm going to kind of sprinkle that in amongst the 3-day journey that is the Baltimore Comic Con 2021. Back, not so much bigger than ever, but it's back.
All right. So Dragon, I'm going to sprinkle in antidotes if you don't mind. Because honestly, with my trip, there's just a lot of small things that went wrong that added up. So none of these antidotes will take long at all. But
first of all, it's not it's anecdotes. Okay, stop trying to cure everyone's poison right now.
Well, I am working on a Pokemon park in my Imagineering game, so maybe that's on the mind. Yeah, okay, so let's see. Story number 1. I don't know if I've told you this or if I've mentioned it before, but we went on Columbus Day weekend, which is a mistake that I have previously made in theme parks, and it always sucks because no one's thinking about Columbus Day when you're planning a trip. You're just thinking like, oh, October. That's kind of like in between summer and Christmas. It'll be great. But no, it was packed. And Dollywood was insanely packed on Monday, which was the last day that we were there. Hey, Dragon, I'm not going to bore you with the details, but suffice to say, I waited in not 1, but 2 hour-long lines for coasters for Tennessee Tornado and then the aforementioned Mystery Mine.
Oh, poor baby. And you waited in 2 lines for an hour.
Yeah, I waited in 2 lines for an hour, got all the way up to the station, only for the rides to break down. So yeah, and on the last day too, where time was like very much a factor, and I didn't have much time because all the rides were long lines. I don't know. Dragon, I'll build to all. I have one story in particular that I'll build to, but why don't you go ahead and set the stage? Do you want me to get to Friday?
Well, let me start with some preparation before we head to Friday. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So, so I'm preparing for the so of course I'm preparing for the Baltimore Comic Con, which happened between October 22nd and the 24th, which I plan in advance because I know it's coming. So took a lot of searching through archives of comics and books and stuff to get signed and kind of like planning out routes and all that sort of stuff. Recalling what happened, 2019. Having to call back to 2 years to like how things were. So I was in the planning stages for a while, and And I was looking forward to this convention because there's going to be like a lot of new guests that I had not seen before, some big names in the comic industry. It was, you had Brian Michael Bendis, of course, famously the curator of a lot of Ultimate Spider-Man, as well as the creator of Miles Morales. Bendis is big. A lot of good stuff. Also, Secret Invasion, which of course is soon to be adapted in a show next year. Yeah, so Bendis, you had this guy, Gene Luen Yang, if I'm saying that right. He did the Superman Smashes the Klan book, which was really good. The guy's a pretty good writer. So, big one, Frank Miller. I was kind of decided
Oh my
after that.
God.
So Frank Miller has been. Don't be too shocked and awe. Don't get too caught up in shock and awe. Frank Miller's been around for a bunch, but the problem is the reason I've not seen Frank Miller up to this point is that Frank Miller.
Honestly, the reason I'm shocked is that it feels like Frank Miller just kind of like wandered off into a cabin in the woods for the past few years. I don't know. Like that's just the perception that I have of him the past few years.
Well, he kind of looks like he's been held up in a cabin, if I'm being frank.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I've seen recent pictures of the man.
So Frank Miller, I've never been able to see Frank Miller because he charges an arm and a leg for a signature.
Oh, of course he does.
That's the thing. I mean, it's gotten worse over the years. I mean,
gotta get your All-Star Batman and Robin signatures.
You know, you joke about that. I have Jim Lee having signed the first issue of that. So,
oh dear God, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, so that's the thing. So of course, Frank Miller, I kind of this year I'd prepared like, you know what? I'm going to throw caution to the wind this year. I'm going to do it. I'm going to pay through the nose to get Frank Miller to sign one of the I'm going to sign Part 4, Dark Knight Returns.
Oh man! All right.
So that was the plan.
Dragon, are you man enough to say the number?
Yeah, $100.
Oh Jesus! Oh God! Oh.
There are some numbers I won't say during this, and there are some numbers I will say.
That's fair. That's totally fair. Oh,
so man. I will say, yes, Frank Miller
kills my soul a little bit.
yeah. But to be fair, though, again, Frank Miller, the guy who made Batman truly dark, so that's a huge legacy right there. Also, created Jim Gordon the way I know him. That's also really big.
Sure. I mean, it's look. I'm just saying, I'm not going to pay $100 for like my hero, it's like that's just like I don't know.
Fair enough, and that's what I'm saying. That's why I've that for the reasons you're saying now. I've not done it before, but I figure after all these years, well, time's passing. You never know how long.
This is me speaking as a theme park fan. Where usually like paying $100 will get me like a full day of entertainment. So
Right.
Anyway.
That's what I'm saying is that it's been many years, and I just like just for. It's always kind of there in the stratosphere when he pops up. You know what? This year I think I'm going to go for it. So anyway,
so is he like in a separate room? Like, can you like walk by him? Like, can you be in the same space as him without pain?
In theory. I mean, the problem is like I could probably stand in line and meet him, which I had contemplated before, but his lines are like miles and miles long, which also
Miles Morales long.
Sure, Tiki, Miles Morales.
I'm sorry.
Okay, my point. So again, the guests are announced, and those are some of the biggest. So two of those are the biggest names. I wanted to see Gene Luen Yang because again, I really liked what he did on the Superman versus the Klan, which is kind of a throwback to one of the old Superman stories of the 50s, I believe.
Is that that's not the Klan I'm thinking of, right?
Yeah, it's the KKK.
Dear God. Oh, okay.
Yeah, they because remember historically Superman like fought him on a radio show,
right?
And then they made kind of like a throwback to that in comic form. It was a really good story too. It was like the art style was really good. It was really I recommend looking into it. So anyway, these guests are announced. I'm looking forward to a number of them, and then comes a tsunami of cancellations.
Oh no!
Just a lot of cancellations up until the day of.
Cue the red letter media. Oh no! Oh no!
So there have been basically, especially towards like the month or two beforehand, there are just like these cancellations were coming in, and even on the day of when the thing happened, cancellations kept coming in. Here's the thing: I'm not surprised Frank Miller canceled. But and again, because ultimately it's no skin off my nose. Because again, I've had the option there. I was like, I was going to do it.
It would have been like, okay, now I don't have to have the moral dilemma of spending $100 fucking dollars.
Exactly, but here's the thing: I'm not surprised. I was expecting him to be out of the. Here's the thing: he wasn't like canceled. He wasn't the first guy canceled. He was like roughly like the third to last guy to cancel.
Hmm.
And it just baffles me. Like, okay, clearly Frank Miller is up there in AGB at risk. It makes sense. I was surprised he would be announced this year given those circumstances, and he was there. And here's the thing that surprised me even more: they waited so long. He sold out in terms of everyone. For not for the $100 specifically, but just like for a whole bunch of other packages. Like if you got multiple items signed, it's like they cut you like a slight, very, very slight break. It'd be like 4 things signed, it's $400. That's a package they offer.
Oh God!
So that's what I'm saying. Some poor sap did those. Some of those options sold out. Okay, the movie, like the collectors, who the really, the guys who are all about the resale of comics, those guys likely, they were part of the sold out thing, so they had to go through the arbitration. I got to get my money refunded to me, which, trust me, is not easy because the way Comic-Con usually works is they're very anti doing the refund. Like, well, you buy the tickets, it's non-refundable tickets.
Oh, I know how that works with theme parks. Yeah,
good thing I don't know how that goes with the necessarily with the. With the autographs themselves. All he knows the tickets are like very like you buy the ticket, you can't transfer them, you can't refund them, and all that sort of thing. So I don't know how that works. So, but then Bendis broke my heart. So there's no Bendis there because I sifted through all the stuff to find as much Bendis as I got all the Bendis stuff, and I found out he doesn't charge for a signature or anything. So I was eager. It's just gonna be a long line. So I was gearing up for that. And Bubkiss, Yang, no Yang, but the guy I was most anticipating, though, he did not cancel. Thank goodness. Joe Quesada. You know Joe Quesada, right?
Obviously I know his name. You're going to have to remind me exactly what he's known for.
Joe Quesada, basically the guy who coined the Marvel imprints, Marvel Knights, Max, the adult Marvel stuff.
Okay.
Also, he did he worked with Kevin Smith on Guardian Devil, the story that killed Karen Page. And
Sure.
Very famously, the reason you know the name Tiki, he was the artist on One More Day.
Oh God! Oh Jesus!
So again, he's bad. Yeah. But beyond that, he was the editor.
What's up with the theme of like great artists working on terrible books?
And that's the thing too. So Quesada, basically along with that, Quesada was also the editor of Marvel Comics. And the big thing, and here's something I had the night before. So I had one problem with Quesada. Unfortunately, I did not realize this until the night before, which meant I wasn't getting much sleep.
Oh God!
So I re-listened to the podcast they did with Kevin Smith on way before Fat Man Beyond, on Fat Man on Batman, and I forgot. Oh no, I forgot he was in charge. He was also the creative director of Marvel Entertainment, which means he was one of the godfathers on the Marvel Netflix shows.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I had to do a last minute thank you letter, and it's so funny. Both of these cons, I didn't think I was going to have to write like my traditional thank you letter because the guests were kind of streamlined in many regards. They weren't really the guys that connected to me on an uber personal level until the last minute. Where oh God,
oh man,
I gotta write a letter. This is the most last minute. It's like oh God, literally, I had like 20 minutes to write it, and I still went beyond the time I was.
Did you like go J.K. Rowling style, just write it on a restaurant napkin?
No, I used to handwrite them, but I write small, so I got paranoid. Oh God, it's gonna be too small, so I got to type it now. So I was typing like a maniac. Anyway, so here's what I'm gonna do, folks. So the 3 days are also going to include 3 parts of the Sunday that was Monster Mania. Okay, so we're gonna start from the horrific realization of the whole Quesada thing to the horror con. So Tiki, you can pull up Friday if you'd like. We're gonna do Monster Mania.
Okay. And really quick, I want to work in the antidote.
Anecdote.
I'm pretty sure you already know this, and I'm pretty sure like most people know this, but Dragon, do you remember like about 2 weeks before I was set to leave for my trip, and like the flagship coaster of Dollywood closed?
No, I remember you saying you were vague about it, T. I didn't know it was like that coaster closed.
Yeah, there was like a rollback on it, which meant that the coaster kind of rolled back from the lift hill. And yeah, man, the thing that really pissed me off is when I got to the park, to, of course, pay my respects to the RMC that I wasn't going to get to ride. It literally felt like a slap in the face. It was like, oh, this ride is closed for scheduled routine maintenance. And Dragon, I swear to God, my reaction to that was just the Anakin Skywalker liar.
See, I was thinking like Marty Moose from Vacation, but that's good too.
I'm just like, no, it's not scheduled maintenance. It was a fucking god damn it. So yeah, Dragon. I might never get the chance to ride Lightning Rod, and it's not even Dragon. People have made like 2-3 treks out to Dollywood before getting a chance to ride that thing, and I am convinced that Dollywood is just going to have to cut their losses on it and just remove it. It is a maintenance nightmare. Anyways, on to Friday, sir.
Okay, so part 1 of Monster Mania. Monster Mania, again, I'm only there for Sunday. But so I'm only there for, this is occurring to me, Tiki. Do you want to, because Monster Mania just takes place on Sunday all 3 days. Should we just put the Sunday one up?
I was kind of thinking that, yeah.
Yeah, let's just do that. Let's thought about that right now. Okay. So Monster Mania is on Sunday. So part 1 of the story is, so this was my second Monster Mania. So I did the first one in 2019 for Bruce Campbell. That's why I was there. And it was it was a fun experience. It kind of took me back to what Comic-Con was probably in like the bygone era that was like the beginnings in probably the late 60s, early 70s, back when conventions were in hotels. So it was my first kind of hotel convention. And it was it's easier than the Comic-Con in many regards because it's a little less encumbered and everything. And but it's also kind of foreign territory. And I thought I had a good lay of the land after the first time, but especially going in with the pandemic and everything in mind and all that. Things were tricky this year with Monster Mania on the second go. You have basically the difference with Monster Mania from a Comic-Con is that it's all celebrities, it's in a hotel, and it's just one day. Again, easier to plan because that they announce like the guest and everything. Basically, you're looking for like a chart of like what the prices of the autographs and the sorry, you're looking for a price on the autographs and the if they're going to do a selfie option, which thankfully was made available a little too close to comfort for my liking, like less than the week of they're going to put that information up. But anyway, so things were easily planned, but then the rug was pulled out from under me when they announced a huge guest I did not see coming from a mile away.
Oh God.
So I'm going there expecting Robert Englund as the MVP, if you will. It's like, okay, Freddy Krueger, okay, because I love the whole Never Sleep Again. I'm loving the documentary on the guy. Robert Englund's a really good actor, and I love his voice work. So I'm excited to see.
A very charismatic personality. Like he's in a ton of those like VH1 documentaries and stuff like that.
Yeah. So he's a lot of fun, I'd imagine. So I'm looking forward to him. I'm not, I don't know the movies intimately, so I can't really write a thank you. Giant. And he goes again. I'm expecting an easy day. So then they announced like roughly the week or two of when like right before they put up that list of all the celebrities and their prices and stuff. Christopher Lloyd is announced.
Oh my God.
So
I have curiosity for what movie in particular.
Well, what do you mean?
Well, I mean, like, since it's a horror con, like, what was the horror movie that he was attached to?
Well, primarily Addams Family. They were promoting Addams Family. Okay,
gotcha.
Yeah, that was the main. Because you think Christina Ricci was supposed to be there too, but she canceled.
Obviously it's Christopher Lloyd, so it's like, he's fucking Christopher Lloyd. I'm just curious with the horror connection.
I mean, they advertised a little bit of everything, but yeah, the primary horror thing was Addams Family. I'm sure there was some obscure stuff too.
Sure.
But anyways, so Christopher Lloyd was announced and kind of filling in for Christina Ricci. I mean, that's a heck of an upgrade if you ask me. Like, when Christina Ricci to Christopher Lloyd.
To Christina Ricci.
Yeah, I know she's good. That's the thing. I don't know if they were supposed to go for an Addams Family thing and then they heard back from one after the other canceled, or if that was just like let's do it upright. I don't know. So it took like a week of crafting a fan letter, fan thank you note of Christopher Reeves. Basically, I don't want to hold him up because I'm expecting a line.
Christopher Reeves, not Christopher Lloyd.
Sorry, Christopher Lloyd.
Just correcting you.
Thank you. There's a lot of there's some Christopher Reeve related stuff later, so that's why I'm getting tripped up. Anyway, so going to the con, this kind of applies to both. So this year I had a solution for because I maximize my time, so I don't eat during these conventions. So what I did is on the way there, I got donuts. Donuts were my food of choice solution, which worked wonders. Tiki, I didn't lose any steam during the day or anything. I ate my donuts on the way to the horror con. Yeah, no, what other? Yes, Duncan.
What other fucking homemade donuts? We've had this debate before.
That's what I'm saying. It's Duncan or nothing. That's my motto.
Go
Put
to
it on
a
a bumper
local
sticker.
goddamn donut shop, Dragon. I'm sure literally any of them are better than Dunkin'.
Duncan or nothing.
All right.
Yes, and as that guy says, Christopher Lloyd, a.k.a. Reverend Jim Ignatowski, which I did mention in my letter.
I'm sorry. Remind me what that's from?
Taxi.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
That was the big one for him. Taxi was one of the big early roles for Christopher Lloyd. Anyway, so again, I'm eating donuts on the way down there, which kind of carries me to the fact that I won't be eating until probably dinner time. Like after those days. So let's see. So there was a delay on the day of the HorrorCon of the Monster Mania, which proved a little costly because I'm worried that England's going to be exactly the Bruce Campbell line, which was basically you have to get there early to buy the ticket and then get in line. That's how it worked with Bruce Campbell. And the line's like a mile long, like a legit mile long. So good news. This year they did the autographs like they traditionally do them at Comic-Con. We're okay. You stand in line when you get up to the table, then you pay for it, which kind of takes a step out of there, so that was convenient. But still, Robert Englund as the premier guest, that's going to be a huge line for a horror con, which prides itself on its slasher guest. So I'm still expecting a big line, but now I have to bifurcate myself. I need to be in two places at once. Thankfully, on Sundays, as per tradition, my folks come with me because they really loved the Monster Mania when they went with me last year, and they always come to Comic-Con on Sunday because my father took me the first time, a decade ago. Anyway, we get there. Let's see. We get there. So again, the challenge, I need to be in two places at once. I don't know what to expect with Christopher Lloyd because again, I'm expecting a lot of people are going to be excited to see him too. So again, the folks are helping. They're standing in the England line while I'm waiting. After I check and find that whole you're going to pay when you get up to the table, which is convenient. I'm unsure how packed Lloyd's going to be, so I'm in the Lloyd line, and I'm commiserating with the folks in line, my fellow linemen, if you will. And so Christopher Lloyd, he was running late, which you got to remember, they're on their third day here because the Monster Mania does go on for 3 days. So these guys are going to be they're going to be put through the ringer by day 3. So Christopher Lloyd's late, and the tension's mounting because as far as I'm concerned, I was forgetting something important that I forgot in hindsight here, which came back to bite me slightly, more like scratch me. It came back to scratch me. So I'm forgetting something important here, which I don't know yet, but so I'm really tense. Like, oh God, Robert Englund. I don't know how fast that line's going to move, and if I'm not there, it's kind of defeating the purpose of why my folks are standing in line, or being the placeholders right now. So I'm worried. Oh God, if he's running late, then I'm going to miss him, and there's going to be like,
oh God, that would stress me out so hard, dude.
So I'm a little tense right now. Anyway, so good news.
I would literally be having a panic attack in that situation. I'm not even joking.
So good news. Lloyd's line, very manageable. It's just he needs to get there, but it's very manageable.
Yeah.
Okay, because anyway, so again, that was the good news. Anyway, so he finally gets there, and here's the thing: once you get into like little private room, they put him in. They you fancy hotel rooms for the convention. So when he gets there, and we're all finally corralled in the room, there's electricity in the air. The man has entered the building, and he's sitting down, and there's an eerie quiet. There's like an eerie quiet, and you're all there. Everyone's excited and waiting with bated breath until they go up to him. But then I think I found out why there was quiet.
Oh no!
In an unfortunate way. So here's the rude awakening I had at the Monster Mania. So here's the problem I had that kind of hit me a couple times during the Monster Mania. The pandemic strings attached.
Mm-hmm.
So the pandemic strikes, and I did not. Again, this is the first time. I go to this before I do the Comic-Con, so this is the first kind of awakening that things are going to be different when you go to the convention this year. So, in the case of Christopher Lloyd, who was up there and obviously more at risk, we're all wearing masks. There is a 6-foot table. Okay, so as in he's signing across from a 6-foot table, and again, everyone's wearing masks. It's day 3, so I'm sure some energy is drained from the man. And here's the thing: Christopher Lloyd is up there, and there's a hearing issue to take into consideration. So conversation did not go as well as it had in other places. So it's a little hard. So it was a little hard to converse. I told him about the letter, which again, the letter should do the job for me. So even if I don't have the most lively conversation, if he reads it, and hopefully I have to make an assumption that he's going to read it, because I don't even know 100%. But he thanked me for the letter once it was translated by the person next to him, because again, I had to enunciate a little bit over the mask and everything. So I'm assuming it went well. I was a little crestfallen. I won't lie. I don't blame him for that. I blame the circumstance.
Sure.
So again, I'm walking away from that like, oh boy, that's yeah. In retrospect, I might have tried to get him second, but anyway, so I head back to the England line, and it's barely moved at all because
Mm.
I forgot. Here's what I forgot, and I know this because I loved it in the documentary. England, he's a chatty Cathy. Okay, he's notoriously a chatty Cathy. He loves, like, when he's in the makeup chair and when they put the makeup on him, he would chat with everyone, tell them old stories and everything. So I was worried for nothing apparently, but that chatty Cathy component will be both a good and a bad thing, and we're going to check in with that during part 2 on the
Ooh,
Friday.
okay.
Now on the Friday.
Dragon, I'm going to weave a story
Okay,
about
weave
a
it in.
miserable line that I waded in, okay?
All right, what do you got?
So, there's this park in Gatlinburg, which is the town next to Pigeon Forge. And it has a park called Anarchista, which literally translates to the high ground. And basically it's, I know. So basically it's Obi-Wan would have a field day.
Yep, and Anakin would just be miserable. That's where I lost my limbs. That's where you cut my limbs off, you jerk.
Oh god. So basically, Dragon, what it is you take a chairlift like all the way up to a mountain, and then when you're on this mountain, there's like a coaster, there's a bunch of gardens and scenic vistas and stuff like that. There's like a rope course. The problem is that my grandma and I, like, we did not account for just how long it would take to actually get up to the mountain. So we arrived there about midday, about noonish, and we get there and we see this horribly long line. And I'm like, oh, it's okay. I bought my tickets online. This is like the ticket line, right? Like, we should be fine. So I go up to the ticket window, and the lady, like, who's probably, sick of answering this question, like, she's probably been told, like, oh, you got to get in the line. And I'm like, God. So we're waiting, and we're waiting, and we're waiting. And at this point, we haven't even eaten breakfast yet. And it's like past noon, and we don't know if it's even going to be possible to eat up here, because it's like it's got like a couple restaurants, but given just how packed it is, we're just like, oh my god, like, are the restaurants just going to be completely like inaccessible? Like, are we going to get up there and just not be able to get food at all? So we're kind of like we're kind of putting together plans in our head, and then we realize that this line that we're in is not even to get onto the chairlift, it's to get a wristband. And then once you get a wristband, then you get onto the chairlift, which is another line that looked equally as long. Now, Dragon, I cannot for the life of me figure out why it worked this way. Like I cannot figure out why you couldn't just scan your ticket while you got, right before you got on the chairlift. Like, to me, that makes no sense. It's literally just making people stand in line for nothing. Like, I don't get it at all. But Dragon, at this point, it was like we had waited in line for like almost an hour, or no, over an hour. So it was like almost 2:00 by the time we were like getting close to the end of this wristband line. We were hearing murmurs from other people in line that the line for the chairlift was going to be at least an hour, like at least another hour just to get up the chairlift. We're starving at this point. And then we also come to the crushing realization, like, oh my god, by the time we get up there, we're gonna have like a couple hours, and then like, what is the situation to get back down? Like, is it gonna be just as miserable of line to get back down? And so with all that in mind, Dragon, we just make this decision to duck. Like, we just duck at, like, it's literally like $60 down the drain, which isn't that much money in retrospect. It's really not. But like, honestly, the thing I was more pissed off about was just waiting that time in line. I don't know, it was just miserable. So Dragon, one thing I want to bring up with the line, because this is something that I struggle with, and I did struggle with in Tennessee a lot, was when the lines don't move. Because, man, I know it, like, I have a foot issue, and I can walk just fine, right? Like, I can walk for miles.
But you
and miles.
can't stand because it's just going to put it's going to put weight on the arch support.
Exactly. So, Dragon, how do you deal with that when you're like, let's say you're waiting for someone to show up and you have no idea how long? Like, do people sit, or is sitting frowned upon, or what?
Well, no, sitting's not frowned upon. I mean, I've never kind of viewed it as frowned upon. It's just like, do you want to sit on the dirty floor? It's kind of the question. Like, if you let me this way, I have a fun story about the line thing. You're gonna love once I get Friday started. So you're gonna love this story. Trust me, it's gonna be. But before that, I got to answer that guy's question. I'm also gonna do a little side note on Christopher Lloyd real quick.
Sure.
So that guy says, question of the Dragon, was there any Scream panels? So the Scream panel in 2019, they had all the Scream guys there, with Skeet Ulrich being the exception because he had to shoot Riverdale, which now is not an issue because he's no longer on the show. So that's a shame. I was looking forward to meeting that guy because he's cool. Met Matthew Lillard though. He was a dream.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yes. So that's the thing. So, but yeah. So I mean, they had panels in 2019. They had the panels not on Sunday. They just had the meet and greets on Sunday. The panels are like on a Friday, and they also have like a huge movie screen. They put them like a pretty much like starting from the crack of dawn onwards, like a film festival. You can watch the movies with the celebrities, that sort of thing.
Oh, that's cool.
So they do that on like Friday. I believe I don't know if like they do the films on Friday too, but they do all the films on Saturday and they have the panels those days. So that's when that would have been. I don't know if they had I don't think they had any Scream people there this year. If so, they were like Nev Campbell was there in 2019. I don't know if they had anyone.
Been like people from like the Scream series that you have no idea about.
That's what I'm saying. That if they were there, it would be low tier Scream. Like least less iconic. Now, Christopher, I just want to highlight with the letter though. I mean, I referenced
random high school girl number 3 from Scream 4.
Well, maybe not that obscure. But, whoever whoever leads that show were that weren't from the movies, probably. So, real quick, so Christopher Lloyd, I wrote my thank you letter. It's kind of like summarized, the nostalgia I had for the Back to the Future, the ride, as well as I kind of weaved in as much as I could.
You cite specifically Back to the Future, the ride.
Yeah, because I kind of weaved in my introduction through my grandfather, which was he introduced me to Back to the Future and Taxi, which basically was the introduction to Christopher Lloyd, which then led to the culmination with Back to the Future, the ride, which was the big thing both of us had. We love that ride.
Mm.
And then I kind of referenced stuff. I even went up to the obscure route, one of my personal favorites that no one ever talks about, his role in the Page Master. Seriously, it gets me the ending with him and the Page Master gets me so much when it's like, but I promised her, and he's like, gives him like kind of like the Mean Joe Green Coconut smile moment, practically of like, it's okay, he's like, shh, like the librarian shushing the boy in a positive way. It's wonderful. Anyway, so of course Judge Doom and all that. So I kind of weaved in all the roles, just kind of like highlight what I really liked about him, what kind of like stood the test of time about them. Your work has been a gift, that sort of stuff. All right. So, anyways, on to Friday. So, we're at the convention. So, I had a buddy who's supposed to meet me at the convention to help me with. Usually, what happens is my buddies go with me on like Friday and Saturday, and they'll help me. Between the group, and they'll who's ever available, they'll enjoy the con, but they'll help me out in some lines, and they'll help me get multiple things signed for the guys that have book limits before they start charging for the signatures.
Mm-hmm.
So, unfortunately, this year, my buddy. He as I confront my nemesis at the Baltimore Comic-Con, the sketch art people. But we'll get to them. So anyway, my buddy had a car accident like the day or two beforehand. He's okay, but car completely out of commission, which means he was a no-go. And unfortunately, my friends, I blame the pandemic for this. For many reasons, of whether it just be the pandemic fear of just like, because you gotta remember the convention is kind of in the heart of it. So the Baltimore city, is like the mask is completely a mandate. Like even when you're walking the street, it's that bad. So it's one thing. I don't know if there was some intimidation going on there. No one could go into the convention center unless they were inoculated, because there was like a thing they're gonna temp check you. They're gonna get proof of the card and all that sort of stuff. Anyway. So
can I just say really quick, Tennessee was like the exact opposite. There were so many moments where I was just like, oh fuck, thank God I'm vaccinated.
I think they were a little looser with it with Monster Mania, because that's in Hunt Valley. It's a little more safer terrain, and basically the mask is
San Francisco is exactly the same way that you're describing, so I totally hear you.
Gotcha. It's like more so like if you're going up the sled, perhaps put on your mask, but if you're walking from point A to point B, you'd probably be okay. Which again, I don't fully agree with, but it's anyway. Point being, that's what it is.
I mean, Dragon, I'm saying like in any one location, like there might be like maybe like 5 to 10% of all given people wearing masks on my trip, if that. Like it was harrowing.
Yeah, it's not great. That's what I'm saying. At least here's the thing: everyone got an orange wristband to indicate that they were checked and they're verified. So you had that putting you at ease through the whole con of like everyone was screened.
Whereas in Pigeon Forge, it's pretty much like I don't want to get into a political debate over this, but it's the insane like, oh, vaccination, fucking the government's gonna like put microchips in us or what the fuck ever those people think.
Well, the bigger thing I'm ticked off about just broadly is not really a political thing, it's more of a financial thing with the pandemic. Is that I think another thing that kind of scared some of my guys off was the fact that the pandemic has caused kind of an economic thing where now everything's more expensive, so they're kind of
that's certainly fair. Yeah
they couldn't. I'm not gonna say they couldn't afford to go, but it's like that they probably were. They wanted to kind of save money for more important things, I suppose, which I can't fault them for that. But between that, some fear, and also some people couldn't get off work. So I was completely alone this year, which I've never been. I've never been just completely. Well, I've been alone for like one day, but not. I'm sorry. You tried you know how it feels to me about being alone, about getting nothing back there.
I'm just saying in terms of like doing solo stuff at theme parks.
Right. Yeah, so I was I've gone like maybe like a Saturday or two before, but never like both days, like completely solo. So I was it's not like I was scared or anything. It was like inconvenient because again, I can only get so much stuff signed by myself, unfortunately. Anyway, so and again, here's the thing I really want to rant at for a millisecond here is the sponsors, again, like the sketch star people are like essential sequential. It just bothers me because they breathe down the neck of these creators. Like, you got to charge everyone. You got to charge everyone. And look, if you're going to do that, fine. But what would be helpful? If in advance, when we're listing all the people, I know there are a lot of cancellations, but this is just on principle. Could we post, like we did with the Monster Con, could we post like the rates and the limits? So people know going in, so I don't have to bring books. If I don't have to guesstimate half the time, because here's the thing: I had to do so much research that can only date back to 2019 and not 2020 to see how things have changed. There's a lot of guesstimation at play. Anyway, so here's something eerie in kind of a good way. They moved the building of the convention, so the convention center is kind of two giant conventions, like down the street from each other. You have one building which it traditionally has been in for like 9 years, and then you have the building down there where basically I get dropped off and I walk all the way up to the other building. That's how it usually works. That building, though, like I guess technically 11 years. Well, I guess sorry, with the pandemic, it's an extra year. 12 years ago, the first time I went to the convention, it was in that building. So I returned to that building 12 years later.
Oh wow,
because it's a smaller building, because they didn't have any celebrities. Let me put it this way. Here are the two celebrities that were able to make it, just to show you kind of how maybe strong-armed we are by things here. So the celebrity talent was Susan Blackline and Noel Noel Hathaway. I think that's his name. Yeah. Basically, Bastion from Neverending Story, and the girl from Jaws who gets eaten at the start.
Oh my god!
I mean, I'm not knocking
disrespect to those people, but
I mean, look, I was gonna try and see Susan Backline, but here's the thing, though: she was completely unfindable in that book, in the map. I mean, it was like not easy to find her. Anyway. So I'm at at the convention center, which again it's a smaller location, which is refreshing given how massive, how big the space usually is. So I mean that's kind of cool. The turnout, I don't know if the turnout was necessarily. I mean, I guess proportionally it wasn't like a ghost town, but it wasn't packed to the rafters. So this would probably been the ideal. In some respects, this would have been the ideal year for you, but by the same token, again, still everyone's masked up in the pandemic. But at least everyone's safe though. So I don't know. Regardless,
I moved the conventions just are never going to be my thing. I think.
It's fair. Okay, now I'm gonna show you. We're gonna start the visual component of the show, kids. Ooh. All right, so here's what I was wearing at the on day one. I meticulously pick my wardrobe for 3 days because I'm gonna get in pictures and stuff, and I'm gonna meet certain people. I want to dress appropriately because I'm festive like that. So, day one, I wore my Devil in a Snowstorm shirt
Oh man.
to meet Joe Quesada, who had a hand in the Netflix stuff.
Uh-huh.
Of course, I love this shirt. One of my favorites. It's, of course, one of the great moments from Daredevil, as well as indicates both the Kingpin, Matt Murdock, and Daredevil. It's great. Okay, so I'm dressed for that, and I'm in the waiting area. And here's the standing story you're gonna love.
Okay.
Okay, so traditionally in the other location that the convention is usually held at, you're kind of standing, and there's no seating options unless you want to risk getting out of line. You have to ask somebody to hold your spot, all that sort of stuff. So I'm chatting up a guy, and this year the way it's set up, this building, there's like chairs off to the side, and we had kind of like remember that moment in Men in Black where they're all taking the test, and the real test is like who's going to be smart enough to grab the table when they're all like writing in these egg-shaped chairs. Pretty much like art imitating life on that to a degree, where I'm talking to this guy and we're hitting it up, and he basically gets the bright idea. I wish I thought it was. He gets the bright idea, like, I'm going to take one of these chairs. He pulls one of the chairs over. Tiki, in 12 years, I've never seen anyone just grab, because again, usually the chairs are not there, or the chairs are like giant armchairs, like you can't move. And these are like like office chairs sort of thing. Like office chairs without the wheels,
Oh man!
And I just pulled it over there, and yeah, he was. I bowed to the man's superiority. I said, "Man, you were smarter than anyone I've ever seen." Look at this. And always tell me like, yeah, some cute. Again, you make really good company in the lines at the convention. So this guy's telling me that he brings one of the artists. Like 1 year, he brought him like a butterscotch crimpet, so he brought him a whole box this year because it's been a year since he's seen him, which I thought was cute. And they're both fans of one of the artists who unfortunately canceled as well. Like Katie Cook showed me this sketchbook he had all the artists kind of write in. I got there while I was waiting. There were a few cosplays. More cosplays than I was expecting, but rightfully so. Sunday slower than the other 2 days. So Friday, right off the bat, while I'm in line, saw this.
Okay, let's see.
Spider-Man posing. It's from an angle. Looks like he's actually wall crawling. Pretty impressive. Yeah. I believe he's also from our Root image as well. That guy doing the web slinging through the convention.
Now, by the way, was that Root image just a really well-timed jump? I assume?
Yeah, it's a well-timed jump. That guy just, I guess they had like a guy with a special camera, and he just, jumps, and he's, yeah, pretty impressive. I mean, you saw how the guy was posing earlier. I mean, that's what I'm saying. This guy's probably an expert. He's probably a professional Spider-Man cosplayer, I imagine. Now, if you notice on his wrist, you see the orange one right there. It's the COVID. That's the pandemic.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And there's your 3-day admission on the other arm, which he's wearing like web sling, like web shooters.
Wear that all 3 days.
Yeah, you got to wear it all 3 days. Unfortunately, yeah.
That'd drive me crazy from like
I know. I
wish. Point of view.
Unfortunately, yeah. Plus, it's the fact of just like they wear in the shower and everything. It's really annoying.
Yeah.
That's the thing they have not fixed. I wish they just go with I believe the way San Diego does, just have lanyards. Why can't we just get lanyards?
Right.
Okay. Anyway. Okay. So the point being, so I'm getting some pictures of that guy. It's really cool. The VIPs really got gypped this year because the VIPs. I was a VIP 1 year way back when it was affordable. Well, it's never been affordable, let's say. But the fact is, the VIPs usually get in like an hour early and they get a whole bunch of swag, depending on what VIP package you have. Regardless, VIPs only got half an hour this year. I think they got really gypped. Considering how much VIPs like $150, I think. It's crazy. So anyway, so I'm noticing that in line. Anyway, so I'm in a panic while I'm waiting over Joe Quesada because in the program I read something I had not read before, where it sounds like they're going to have signing events versus him at a table. When on the map he is at a table. So I'm panicking, thinking, "Oh man, I dressed for Quesada today in my planning and everything, and he might not even be there."
Oh God!
So I'm starting to panic. And plus, I got to buy like an additional autograph than the one I already kind of bought in advance. And I'm hoping I can buy at the table. I'm hoping things haven't changed too much in the year. So I'm a little anxious over that already. So thankfully, when I was in line on the inside, a guy dissuaded me. Oh no, he's going to be at his table at 3:00, which was God damn, I have a time to. Thank you. So confirm my worst fears were not to be trusted. So, I'm the big draw.
The thing just sounds like it would be a giant heart attack for me, man.
Yeah. So, I'm meeting some of the Batman talent. That's usually why I need the other guys in line with me. But again, all alone this year. I got Tom King, Mitch Gerards. They're signing some books that are behind plexiglass for their protection. The masker, again, all the mandatey stuff with the mask. There's this booth that kept calling to me like a siren, Tiki.
Oh God.
These guys, they weren't a store, but they inherited a collection of all this Warner Brothers store memorabilia. And the Warner Brothers store is no longer around in the way it was. And they had like all the Batman the Animated Series exclusive merchandise and the Bat movies, like the classic Burton and Schumacher and all that sort of stuff. That's all they have there, and a little bit of Begins too, I guess, maybe a little bit. It's so it's all there, but it's outrageously priced. It's too rich for my blood, but it was like calling to me like a siren. I was looking at it. I was like, oh, I want to. And they have new stuff every day coming in, like they're putting next. They have like a plethora of stuff. So it's like, oh, it keeps getting better every day. It's like $500 for this and stuff for that. It's like, I can't do that. It's crazy. So she's driving me nuts. And I'm getting some pictures of some stuff, but it's like, come on. Anyway. So let me tell you, while there was a lack of celebrity, Tiki, they had something really cool there this year. Okay. So while there was a lack of celebrity, they had a prop there this year. But not just any prop. They had...
Oh, wow. What the hell is that? Just the shield?
Not just any shield, Tiki. That is... the Avengers Endgame shield that Chris Evans used, the hero prop. When Tony Stark gives him the shield back, and when he's going back in time to fight the other Captain America, that is the shield.
Yeah, that's pretty badass.
So that is here's how this happened. So again, I was salivating at this, as you can probably imagine. So there was an auction house, and they were advertising the auction they were having and giving out some booklets for free so people could maybe put in some bids because it happens in November, the top of November. Yes, it's called the Hayes Auction Company. They had some cool stuff as well. They had a signed copy of Amazing Fantasy 15 signed by Stan Lee, which is amazing. It's so much cool stuff. Again, if you thought that Warner Brothers booth was too rich for my blood, you know how much this shield was auctioning up to? And the auction's not even done, mind you.
Probably like tens of thousands.
Yes, would you like to wager a guess how much tens of thousands?
I'm going to say 50.
You're very close. I was quoted 50, but it turned out to be 45,000.
Okay.
But again, it's probably going to end up beyond 50 by the end of it. So yeah. And you probably ask yourself, how can this get any better, right? I'm going to show you how. They had a cosplayer there to advertise the shield.
What the hell?
That is Isaiah Bradley. That's what Isaiah Bradley looked like in one of the iterations of him in the comics.
Nice.
That's what Isaiah Bradley Cap looked like for a spell in the comics. So they have that guy.
First I was like, is that Combat Carl?
No, it's not Combat. But yeah, this guy, professional cosplayer, I assume he's Isaiah Bradley. He and I were geeking out about the finale to Falcon Winter Soldier, and we were chatting up, and this guy was amazing. So this was utterly delightful, for sure. And then they had some guys walking around the convention with shields, really good shields that they had signed by all sorts of talent, like this. Yeah, this guy, pretty much anyone who's ever worked on Captain America comics had signed this shield. The blue tape is to indicate where anyone could sign, pretty much. Those are the areas to sign.
Gotcha. Yeah.
That's why the blue lines there. And some people did, had them without the blue lines. I mean, this was not the only signed shield I saw there, which is kind of shocking. Like, oh my god! And again, these are the fancy. This is like a $300 to $400 shield, Tiki, you're looking at right now.
With signatures, Dragon. Yeah. Speaking of which, I know you saw this, but the biggest geek out moment for me in that Stars Cars Museum was the Don Knotts signature in the glove compartment.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right.
All right, let's see. So just roundabout. So I'm walking the con. I'm meeting the Batman talent like Cliff Chiang, one of the great artists. Now Cliff Chiang, I actually blew Cliff Chiang's mind. I told him that his art was one of the reference points for Batman Soul of the Dragon, the movie we talked about. Because it was kind of a take on his art mixed with the Bob Kane Batman. So yeah, it's in the kind of the Neil Adams, sort of
Did you not
community.
even know that that movie was like
And
a thing?
he had no idea about it.
Oh
He didn't
wow,
know. Like, he didn't
nice,
know Bruce Timm
nice.
liked his art so much. He kind of mixed it in there
That's
for
really cool.
one of the influence. And I told him, yeah, it was like the comics I brought from, yeah, these covers, they were the influence on that. So he was very happy about that.
Uh-huh.
So he's like, yeah, what is it called? Yeah, it's so Batman Soul of Dragon. Check it out. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, nice.
So let's see. So then also I met a bunch of I met a bunch of they had a really good pool of Deadpool talent. Pool, sorry, had a bunch of Deadpool talent there this year. So they had some of the mainline some of the more recent Deadpool artists, for example, like Scott Koblish and Mike Hawthorne. These guys basically taken over in the years and been kind of like the most. These guys had probably the most Deadpool comics under their belt for the most part. So I met them. I got them to sign my stuff. These guys were so sweet, Tiki. They were so sweet. I could have, and this is where I'm kicking myself in retrospect, where I could have brought all of my stuff for them because I expected them to have lines and stuff and to be like maybe a book limit because again, no one posts anything. I would have brought all of my books on day one because they signed like a huge stack on day one. I could have brought like I cut it in half essentially. I could have brought the full half, the full thing, on day one. And I asked Koblish to do a sketch run. I had him do a commission for me because he did this famous cover when Deadpool got married of pretty much all the characters Deadpool had ever met on the Marvel Universe on a cover, which won the Guinness Book of World Records, like the most characters on a comic book page ever. So the one character that is missing, the one Deadpool character that is missing from that cover was the girl I have sketched by the premier Deadpool artist at the convention, Sandy Brandenburg, Deadpool's secretary from the Gail Simone run. So I kind of gave him like, hey, listen, this cover is amazing, but it's missing one character, and I'd like to rectify that. So he was very nice guy. So we worked out a price, and he's basically worked on that for me. And we'll see that later in our presentation, what the completed version of it looks like. And I learned a valuable lesson, Tiki. I learned it the hard way. So every year they do something called the Heroes Initiative, where they basically help the comic creators indeed who are not getting the royalties from the movies or getting like all the rights to their art and everything from the companies, which like the Jack Kirby's and the Bill Fingers of the world, so to speak. So the Heroes Initiative is a good thing, but these basically people will sign books for free, but they'll encourage you to donate to the Heroes Initiative. And I learned the hard way: never go to a convention without $1 bills.
Oh yeah.
I had fives. I should have brought ones.
yeah.
Learned that the hard way because I expected. Here's the thing: is that there is pressure. There's a little bit of pressure. Like, plus, if they're really nice, it's like, God, I gotta. I could have asked for change, but I didn't want to seem cheap.
Right, totally.
Yeah, that's happened. Anyway, so that I kind of learned the hard way, but a few of those fellows did really earn the $5, and we'll get to that later. So I meet Joe. So let's get to the premiere guy. So Joe Quesada, met him on day one because I was afraid. Oh God, what if something happens? What if he becomes like a cancellation on day three? Like, what if he's not going to be there all 3 days? What if something happens? I got to get him on day one. Hence the plan. So I meet him. It ran very smoothly. Okay, it was nothing, no complications. I gave him the letter. He asked me. I summed up things. He seemed to be intrigued. I told him like, my grandma and I watched all the Netflix shows. We loved them, particularly Daredevil, and he was very flattered. It seems. Again, he seemed like I get the sense that he would actually read that letter and he would genuinely appreciate things. Joe is a swell guy. I would have loved to spend more time with him, but a swell guy. So. Let's see. So then I go on to Christopher Priest. Christopher Priest, one of the Deadpool writers that I had not met. Very late. He showed up like practically towards the end of day one.
Oh God!
Like he's supposed to be there at 3:00, and I got pushed to 3:30, and then 4:30. He didn't show up till 5. But believe it or not, Tiki, he was one of the absolute highlights.
Oh, nice.
Convention.
Nice.
Like, this man came prepared when he came. Like, he was double masked. He had gloves on. He was chatty as all get out. Like, while he was signing again, he had no book limit at all. Again, Heroes Initiative on his case. So this guy earned the $5, man. he, he told me all sorts of stuff like the difference between DC and Marvel over the years working for him. How Marvel nowadays is kind of like the Raiders vault. It's all cubicles and like boxes. Before like you go to DC, it's like you walk into an awesome museum, or like basically he literally said you go to work at DC nowadays. It's like Disney World. It's like Disney when you go to the offices of DC Comics because they have like archives and all sorts of fun stuff. Basically, it looks like Marvel Studios. Marvel Studios has a great office, where DC's office is kind of like that too. Anyway, so I blew his mind when I told him about. We were reminiscing. I told him about the Dini book you and I talked about, Dark Knight, a true Batman story. I blew his mind. He wanted to know more about this book. So yes, yeah, it's about Dini, and I got mugged and everything, and yeah, and it gave me.
Oh yeah, nice, yeah.
So he really loved it. He and I had a thing, and I peeked at it. He didn't have a huge line on Saturday because again, everyone was delayed. That was the only reason there was somewhat of a line because he didn't show up. So
right.
I popped in Saturday. I remind him, hey, remember Batman, Dark Knight, True Batman story. Yeah, I'm gonna look into that. It's like really, got his thoughts on the Black Panther movie and everything. This guy worked on Deadpool, Black Panther, and Batman, so he's got all over the place. So yeah, Christopher Priest, sweet man. Let's see. Just the kind of rant. So on the way out, this is the best part of the story. This is the best part of day one. Okay, so on the way out. So after again, Priest took a long time, as you can probably guess. So on the way out, I'm checking out the vendors, which were minimal this year. Like there's no giant tower of T-shirts or anything like there had been in past years because of the smaller location and everything, I guess. So I'm looking at the vendors. I'm looking for like certain Marvel Legends. I'm looking for the Captain Carter Marvel Legends and then the Scarlet Witch from WandaVision Marvel Legends. Did not find any for a good price or at all, but I came across the Ultimate Collectible.
Okay.
My boyhood dream come true. Tiki, when I saw this thing, it stopped me in my tracks. I mean, I had like an out of body experience. Like I got emotional over this collectible. You want to know what it was?
Sure.
Batman the grappling gun from Batman the Animated Series. Wow. Tiki, I've always wanted this thing. I've looked on Etsy and it's like, I don't want to have it printed and made. But Tiki, I had no idea.
Okay, now just to be clear, is this something that was it like a product that was out, or is it like a one-time thing, or what?
Well, I'm glad you asked. So NECA, the toy company, very recently, and I had no idea they were going to go this far with it. I saw in my comic shop they've been making replicas of certain Batman props, but from '89. They put the Batarang from '89 and the grappling gun from '89, which is like, yeah, that's nice, but the only way in a million years I'd buy one of those is if they made one for Batman the Animated Series, and my God, I had no idea they were doing this. I was like just looking for this Marvel Legend. I looked to my right, and I'm just like, everything disappeared. And I'm looking at it. It was like a magical light from above shined on it. I was like, I looked at it. And I was like, and I grabbed it. And I looked on the back of it. And Tiki, this thing, it shoots out the grappling hook. It makes the sound effects. If you look at the box, this button retracts it. The red button fires it just like the animated series. It's the shape. It's the whole thing. And dig it like there's only one of them there. There was only one. I checked online. I price checked it. It's on Amazon. I had no idea they were making this thing. So I mean, I knew like in my heart of hearts, I am not leaving this building without that. Like I dug my heels in. Like I'm not stepping a toe outside of this building without that item.
Now, just to be clear, was it like the only one there?
Yes, it was the only one there.
Oh dear God! All right.
Period. Like throughout the whole convention, it was the only one there. Now, if I could easily have gotten it on Amazon, mind you, after I saw it. But here's the thing: when I saw it on Amazon, I was like, "Oh God!" But I want it now. But here's the thing: I checked it. I emphatically, I told him, I'm sorry, I'm a little caught up. I'm caught in this right now because this item means the world to me right now. Can I talk you down from the asking price? And he did. He basically gave me what it was for on Amazon. So I got it in person.
Nice,
what it would
nice.
Be. So
That's super nice.
I got it for maybe $1 over, but I don't care. I don't care. So I get the Tiki, the best $45 I've ever spent in my life.
Totally.
The best.
Respect.
So this was like the best purchase I've ever made. This is one of the best purchases. Later in our story, there will be another purchase, but this is essentially up to that point. This was the best purchase I've ever made at any convention ever. So my boyhood dream come true, and I'm just still so happy that I own this piece. My favorite Batman gadget as it looks in the series, and it actually functions. Mind you, the grappling, it's not as amazing as you'd imagine, but it just shoots out and reels back on a little string, but it's still cool. And I make my way to Artist Alley, and I kind of check out the stuff so I can buy stuff in the next 2 days. And I come across this young man, Omar Rodriguez Jr., who had these wonderful prints that I bought on day 3, and looks like this. A little WandaVision print caught my eye. WandaVision from the Halloween episode.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. Yeah.
Yeah, this guy, he does.
I know you're a big fan of those costumes.
I know he does like the gray. He does like kind of these etchings and like these gradations on and kind of paintings. Like these are all handmade, and this is a print of the handmade one. The original, he does sell the originals, but they're a little too rich for my blood. He and I got into a groove because he's a huge animated series fan. I kind of noticed some of his work, and we were talking, and we were geeking out about Batman the animated series, and then I pull out the grappling gun, and like I blew his mind. So so I'm walking. So anyway, that's pretty much the end of Friday, and I then, in terms of how my physical condition's doing, I'm not really tired on the feet front yet. I'm not sore yet on day 1, but I did notice something with the mask, wearing the mask all day. Through a convention without stopping to eat or for eating or drinking, the dehydration factor does really hit you at the end of the day.
Yeah,
yeah. Which I've never been truly dehydrated, but I haven't had like a piece of felt on my face the whole day though.
I mean, just to clarify, Tennessee, I was having major dehydration issues.
You're probably outside during the summer during that, right? Yeah.
Now, Dragon, like I heard a lot of horror stories about the humidity in Florida. But, like, it's honestly, like, in the 4 times I've been to that state, it's never really bothered me. Tennessee, it bothered me. So, anyways.
All right, let's see. So, yeah, that's the... Well, I can... do you have any anecdotes? Because I'm going to transition them back to the Mania.
Okay, let's see. I mean, trying to think of... I mean, it's not really an antidote, but Dragon, for being like the biggest tourist town in the whole state of Tennessee, Pigeon Forge was like remarkably difficult to get like Ubers and Lyfts to and from places. And the really shitty thing about that is that pretty much everything that was there was like just far enough out of range to not be within walking distance. But it was also like a short enough drive to where, like, I guess the situation was like Uber and Lyft drivers, like, they'd want to take people like, to like Knoxville or Nashville. You know what I mean? Like they want to make the big bucks, Dragon. They're not after the $10 rides, So that was a major issue. Like I can't even there were at least like 2 or 3 times where we were pretty much fucking stranded at certain spots because of that issue. Like I couldn't believe how bad it was. I mean, I live in Petaluma, California, which is like a bumfuck. It's like a suburb of San Francisco. It's like every time, like no question, like Ubers are just readily available every time. And it's like Tennessee, it's like Pigeon Forge, like the biggest tourist trap I've ever been in. That it's impossible to get an Uber. So yeah, there's my little antidote. Moving on.
All right, so I'm going to use this as a visual transition. This is something that was at the Comic-Con.
Are we at Saturday yet?
Yeah, we're at Saturday now.
Okay.
So, well, actually, go back to Sunday because we're at the Mania.
Sunday. Okay.
So, this is something that should have been at the Monster Mania, but it's something I saw at the con, but it looks really appropriate. Every time you say
Monster Mania, I just want to point out that I just think of, it's time for Cinemassacre's Monster Madness.
Right.
James Rolfe would be a really fun person to be at a horror convention.
He would be. He'd actually be befitting for it. Okay, so here's something that I'm sorry. This is something I saw in Artist Alley real quick. It's also kind of scary. So a little table here. It's actually a table. It's a stained glass table in Artist Alley.
Nice.
Okay, anyway, so here's the thing to set the mood. Actually, here's the transition point.
Oh God, nice.
Yeah, that should have been at the Monster Mania, but it wasn't. But it's still really cool. Okay, anyway, so let's use that kind of set.
He's the ambassador dragon. He travels between the 2 tribes.
All right. So, part 2 of Monster Mania, of the 3 parts. So, again, after I'm in the England line. Okay, I'm in the line for Robert Englund, and I'm coming. I'm commiserating with my fellow linees, my fellow line men and women. And we are you meet so many interesting folks at these conventions. And one guy, one guy was like collecting signatures like from all over. He was I don't know, like bragging in a negative way. I mean, I didn't know about it, but he kind of went on a little bit long. Like, look at all these guys I got. And say, okay, that's really cool. Yeah, I mean that's neat. Then like I don't care about the Battlestar Galactica guys, but that's really cool. And he has like a signed like Ash, Freddy, and Jason thing, which he's going to get England to sign. Which I mean, I think that's really cool. The best guy I was in line with was this guy who's the most New York guy ever, and I loved every minute of it. This guy was like he owned like a restaurant in New York, and he was neighbor because I told him about Christopher Lloyd and how that experience went. He's a neighbor of Michael J. Fox.
Oh,
Because
really?
Michael J. Fox is in New York. He has like a summer house in New York, I think.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, he and I had to break he and his niece's heart with something because again I'd been looking at the list of guests religiously, and I found out that there was a few cancellations there too, minimal compared to the Comic Con. But Danielle Harris, I believe, yeah, Danielle Harris is in the Scream movies, isn't she?
Yes.
Yeah, so Danielle, also Debbie Thornberry. The thing I was gonna check. I wasn't gonna pay for an autograph. I was gonna see. You can actually walk up to the folks and say hi at the Monster Mania too. So I mean, I did that with like the voice of Mojo Jojo and stuff before at the Monster Mania. But so Danielle Harris, I was gonna see her for the Debbie Thornberry at all, but she canceled. But these folks, they had a really big vested interest in seeing her because they had they kind of knew her from a friend of a friend, and like the niece's father was like a filmmaker and had kind of like crossed paths with her at some point or something along those lines. So they didn't know, so I told them, and they were utterly crestfallen. I felt bad about that, but they were gonna find out one way or another.
Uh-huh.
Okay, let's see. So okay, so while I'm in line, my folks they bought my father. He loves the Creature from the Black Lagoon. He loves the Universal horror monsters. He bought these. These are little etchings of the iconic ones, like kind of a set of the iconic.
Yeah, that's cool.
When
Nice.
when I was at the convention in 2019, this is the same guy I bought like these Batman the Animated Series versions of these from. I bought like a set of 4 that were basically he has like all sorts of pop culture figures like is etched here, but my father got got these, and this is kind of how we have them displayed, like at the for Halloween. So little yeah. All right, and again, much like the United Monsters Talent Agency, Tiki, it's kind of like you can put them all together. And that's where he got some of that stuff too. He got some Creature from the Black Lagoon stuff. He got like a few Universal horror stuff. So that's cool. Like, they're walking the con and looking at the vendors. They got all sorts of kind of cool vendors there as well. Anyway, so after a while, we kind of switch off one of my parents. They're kind of standing in line while I get to go down with the other and kind of explore things and meet some of the other celebs. So the other big celebrity I had on my list, Tiki, Adrian Barbeau.
Ooh, yeah, big time.
Yep, Catwoman from the animated series.
Uh-huh.
Of course, I was very excited. She had like the thing that she signed. She had photos from Batman the Animated Series. I was worried she wasn't going to have any, and she did. So I was very happy about that. And it was like she wrote on the page. She wrote almost got him, which delighted me to no end. Like, oh, yeah, she's very nice. My God, she still got it, folks. She still got it. But yeah, she. I'll admit, I asked her something about Catwoman. It kind of went over her head. I didn't go deep. I didn't go too deep cuts with it, which I try to avoid. I just asked her like, so Catwoman kind of evolves
In
from
episode 302, your character said this.
Yeah, so I tried to avoid that. I just went really broad. I just wanted to know, like, hey, so Catwoman kind of starts off as the animal rights kind of thing, and then she becomes classic kind of thief Catwoman. Like, do you have a preference? And I think she forgot that things have changed over that transition. So
Well, I don't blame her for forgetting about the animal rights episodes.
But that's the thing. I think she likes the animal rights episode. I think she recalled that more than she did the thief thing. I don't
really?
know.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. That's the thing. I would have clarified. I didn't want to dig a hole.
Yeah, for sure.
But she complimented me on my knowledge and my fandom, so that was nice. It was nice. And again, yet another animated series talent I've met. So Tara Strong and her so far in person. So that's good. All right, let's see. So get ready to grab the tissues, Tiki, because this next one does not go well.
Oh dear.
So Zach Galligan from Gremlins, Billy.
I mean, sure.
Right. Well,
I know him. I'm like, it's not exactly an actor where I'd be like, oh, it's Billy. Oh my god.
well, no, yeah, sure. I'm just saying, like, just so you know, it's the kid from
You know, with all
Gremlins.
due respect, you know,
Sure.
not someone I'm exactly jumping out of my seat to meet.
So this was a humbling moment of both conventions. Honestly, this was like kind of the low point for me.
Oh god. Okay.
So this was it kind of was a disaster. I embarrassed myself. I feel,
Did you embarrass yourself in front of her? I'm
yeah.
sorry. I thought that would be appropriate with the Daredevil of it all.
Yeah, so here's the thing. So there's no crowd at all around him. I don't know if that I don't know if maybe that kind of like coded maybe how he was feeling. I'm not sure. Like no one was really visiting his booth all that much. Because again, yeah, look,
Oh,
I
I'm
love
already
Zach Galligan.
cringing. You haven't even said what happened.
I mean, I really love Zach Galligan in those movies. I thought he was a great lead, and I didn't want to. I expected more people were going to frequent him because Gremlins. Everyone knows Gremlins.
So everyone was pretty much having the reaction that I literally just had.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah, who cares about the fucking Gremlins kid?
Which I mean, again, I thought. Look, here's the thing. I was just going to meet him.
Give
which
me
is
Sean Astin, motherfucker.
So here's the thing. He was actually at the con one year.
Sean Astin, nice.
Yeah,
nice.
the 2019. Oh no, I'm sorry, not that. He was at the Baltimore con. He was at the Comic Con, not the Monster Con. Yeah. So anyway, so I go to meet him.
What
and
have
again,
you done for me lately, Billy? I'm sorry, go ahead.
So I go to meet him, and again, as I said, I've met people before without buying an autograph. I mean, obviously, there's a hope on their end that someone will buy, but again, I talk to like certain guys, and it's like, oh my god, this is so great, seeing you on this, and they usually just like chatting you up. So I say hi, and I bring up something that I should have. It's like Tiki you're so well researched in so many things, and then there's like one gap. You make one leap, and it's a bad call.
Oh dear God.
I brought up the Mountain Dew ad that he did for the Super Bowl with the Gremlins, the most recent thing he did, which I thought was really good. And you have in the commercial, you have Billy has a daughter, and the daughter, also has like a Mogwai. And I assumed the actress was his real daughter.
It's like basically the same thing as the ET commercial.
Well, just not near. Again, it's much briefer though. It's nowhere near as perfect.
I'm serious, folks. I count that as like the canon sequel to ET.
I know that's what I'm saying. It's not to that level because the problem is it's like incomplete. It's like it just starts off, oh, they got wet again, then we end it. So there's no real resolution like there is the ET one. So anyway, so I go up to him and I bring up like, oh yeah, I saw the ad. I specify, the Mountain Dew ad with you and your daughter, and again, I made the leap assuming that was his real life daughter. When he corrects me, he says, "No, she's an actress, not my daughter." And I felt like, oh god, he's lost momentum. I lost momentum right there. So then I'm looking kind of stupid, and then I'm just, I just love what you did in the Gremlins movies and everything, and it just kind of deflated from there. It didn't really seem, it wasn't really that energized. It didn't really seem like that. Yeah, sure. It's a little. It wasn't like he turned really negative or anything. He just kind of gave me nothing. It was like a sphinx, It's like you kind of got nothing. Basically, it was the humbling moment of like, it just continued to fall from there. I'm sorry. I'm jumping ahead to something else. Sorry, it's just that.
Oh God.
Yeah. But point being, it was the realization I had that it's been a year. I'm a little out of practice. It was a blow to the ego that. Oh boy, I've never really had this problem before. That's kind of embarrassing. So that's part 2 of our story, kind of a low point of our story.
Okay, back to Saturday.
Yes, back to Saturday.
Okay.
All right. So Saturday,
just to clarify, on Sunday, do you go to both cons, or is it just the Monster Madness con?
No, it's both. I do all 3 days with the. I would do all 3 days with the Comic Con. I only do Sunday for the Monster Mania.
Okay, gotcha.
All right, so Saturday, I would show you the picture of this, only it's a little harder to find. I'm wearing like this Batman shirt I bought from the Fandom last year, from the DC Fandom of last year. And I got my utility belt, I got my GCPD badge, my Batman socks. I'm all decked out for the Batman. And let's see. So at this point, my physical state, because I'm all alone, I'm carrying the stupid top loader. This is what I was jumping ahead to, is that I have this top loader, which I did not use at all Friday, which peeved me to no end, because you bring the top loader in case you buy any art, you buy any prints or you buy any, customized artwork. So, it stays all nice, and if, don't worry about it, you don't get paranoid about it being damaged or anything. It's in the top loader, it's fine, but the problem is, because you never know what size of thing you're going to get, I have to bring the biggest one. And again, if you don't have anyone there to maybe carry it for you, well, remember, I bring like a really heavy roller bag full of comics, like a business bag, like I keep documents and I put the comics in there. So at this point, carrying all day, and I have to carry in a funny way.
I just want to reiterate how fucking stressful this whole scenario would be of like standing in the lines, planning out how long the lines are going to be, socially interacting with these people, which is not my strong suit at all. And then
you wouldn't have lasted a minute with Galligan, by the way. You wouldn't have lasted a minute.
Oh, I'm sure. And then also just I don't know, like I would be freaked out about like I don't know if you have a system for this, but like I would be freaked out about like fumbling through the books to like get the specific books out when it's time. Like,
I've had that, but I've gotten to the point now with the system where you get it before you walk up. That's the thing. But I've had those moments. But I got it from the learning the hard way, though. It's happened before. Actually, the worst I've ever had with it happened during when I met the comic book men once. From the AMC, Kevin Smith's comic book men.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the worst I ever had. I had a book that I got out, and it was just. It was a graphic novel, so it should not have been like a plastic, kind of like, comic bag. And the worst thing that happen with a comic bag when they're sealed, because now I don't seal them when I take them to a convention, because if you seal them, you have to worry about the tape. You got to take them out really delicately, or like in a swift move, because if the tape gets caught on the comic, that's the most stressful thing you'll ever have.
Oh, yeah.
Because you got to remove it like a surgeon. Otherwise, if anything comes off, you've done damage. Right. So in this case, it's a book, so it would have been fine. But the fact is, I had like the worst. This graphic novel was kept in like the worst bag with tape on it, so it did not work like any other tape bag. So I had to literally tear it open, and it was like I was I was fumbling in front of the men. I got God. And I think what is it? I'm blank. It's been so long to come in. Brian, I believe. Brian Johnson. Yeah, Brian Johnson, not Ryan Johnson. Brian, the Alan Moore looking one. He kind of roasted me for a bit there about like
filled by Ryan Johnson.
So he kind of roasted me for a moment about having to tear open the bag, and that's what he does though. It's kind of a badge of honor, but it's still like I did not want that to happen. Anyway, so that's the worst I've ever had. That was like years ago. That was like 2014 or 15. So anyway, okay. So where was I? Point being, so the top loader, I have to carry like that. I have to carry I have to pull the roller bag, and I have to stack the thing on top of it. There's like this little handle. If you don't have it properly leaning against the handle, it's gonna fall every time it's upright.
Oh,
it just gets annoying as all get out. So imagine how Friday is when you did all that and you used it for nothing. So on your hand begins to blister because you're carrying that thing and you don't have gloves on. One of these years I got to wear gloves for this thing. I think like a fingerless glove or something that kind of help like the tops of my fingers. I don't know.
Sure.
Anyway, okay, let's see. So it kind of drives you to madness after a while. So I have I have a bunch of DC talent on the agenda for today. I used the chair trick that I learned from that one guy yesterday. And Tiki, I swear to you, it's like, I know you don't get this reference. It's like the candy bar episode of Seinfeld where everyone starts like cutting their candy bars and their donuts and everything with forks and knives. Where one person does it becomes like a running gag in the episode where I'm at a point where everyone else in line, they see, oh, that guy's got a chair, I'm going to get a chair too. So everyone in line.
That's awesome.
Practically, it's like it's that one guy. It's like, I'm going to get a chair because I want to pace myself because I don't want to be doing a lot of standing. So we're all wearing chairs, and then I think your favorite cosplay happens, Tiki. This is going to be your favorite cosplay. You know why?
Why?
Well, it's probably going to be your favorite cosplay. Here we go. Let me. Here it is. Sorry, it's misplaced for a second. Here we go. You recognize this guy?
Oh, let me see.
Think about what he's doing.
Is that Hiro Hamada?
No, not Hiro Hamada. Think more. Think get on up.
I'm sorry, Dragon.
It's emo Peter Parker from Spider-Man 3.
Peter. Oh, God. Dragon, I'm sorry. The mask threw me off.
I know. That's another frustrating thing. So any picture you take with these, everyone's wearing the mask. So that's the other frustrating thing on the photogenic side of things. I should have thought about that. You're right, though. But here's the thing. Here's what's really cool about this. Here's what's really cool. This guy, he was such a pro. Okay, whatever. He walked down to get in line, and he has like a speaker, I guess through his phone or something.
Oh my God.
It plays the song, and he dances exactly like him, and he coins lines from the emo Peter Parker sequence. So when I go up to him, I'm trying to get his attention, because again, the stupid mask, it's the most frustrating thing in the convention. One of the most frustrating things is that you have to say everything loudly, or you have to repeat yourself, because they have to talk through the mask. And then people are walking the other way, and you can try to get their attention, and it's like... So I'm saying, hey, Mr. Parker. And he basically coins the line, I want the staff job for double the money. So again, he's doing the dancing. And again, this is the best shot of the dancing I got here, where he's doing all the posing. There's like the thumbs up and everything. And he does like the sit on this, like the dig on this thing too. It's great. He does that too. That's what I'm saying. This guy was the proper way to start off like Saturday. Like, I love that day one was Spider-Man, day two was emo Peter Parker. so that's delightful. All right, let's see. Okay, so we move on from emo Peter to let me tee up the sketch art, my sketch art nemesis or nemesi. So I get some Tom King stuff signed, and what I do is...
I'm going to play one more flag here before you get to that, because there's another nemesis of the con that you have not even uttered the name of, and I'm just curious. What's the status on the red shirts this year?
Okay, so here's the thing. They've always had names. I think this year they just kind of got more. They got inconsistent with the shirt this year. So some of them were wearing pink, some of them were wearing purple. They just kind of got lazy with this recycling.
That would bother my OCD.
So here's the thing, though. They do have a name, so that makes it easier, though. So they're just called Minion. They literally have Minion written on their shirt.
Oh my God! Okay.
So they are. So in a pinch, they were still like the staff minions, if you will. They're minions. But the horror con has, I call them the shadows.
Ooh, the shadows. Ooh.
The Monster Mania has the shadows, and they're going to come into play on part 3 when we get there. Okay, so yes, so the sketch art people, again, essentially the sketch art people they're essentially the worst version of the of previously the limeys or the red shirts or whatever the minions in this case. So sketch art people, I'm getting some Tom King stuff signed, and I'm buying basically, so I don't have to wait in line Sunday. I'm biting the bullet, and again, I don't have the people with me here, so I'm basically buying the additional autographs I need, so I just get it done. What it would have been Sunday. It's like $5 a book, so Anyway, so what I would have gotten free had I had more help, that sort of thing. So I'm holding out that he also sells books that basically will also include a signature free of cost, because there's somewhat of an upcharge on the books. But the point being, they sell books at the table, and I was holding out for a hardcover version of the Vision book, so I wouldn't have to get 2 Vision books signed, for the price of 2 autographs. So no luck. They had paperback, but I needed that book so I wouldn't have to do the other things. So I was going to settle for the soft cover. It's like, all right, well, I want the hardcover. They had it last year. I asked them, hey, do you have any hardcovers left? Nope, sold out. So I bought the soft cover. So I get that signed. So at least I have it. I have the Vision book, so that's good. Anyway, so we'll check back in with that later.
All right,
how that goes. Meanwhile, so I'm meeting some of the Superman talent, some of the DC talent here. So Brett Breeding, the guy who illustrated the Death and Return of Superman, I get him to sign some stuff. Again, the Death and Returns of Superman guys, they do charge, because you got to remember, they were working on Superman during essentially the comic stock market crash of the 90s, which everyone and their mother bought the Death of Superman thinking it was going to turn a profit like in like 2 years, when really still 25 years later, not so much. Right. So everyone's trying to get them signed so they can get their money back. So these guys are sick of seeing that Superman book. So I understand why they're charging like $5 a signature. And I got stuff signed, including like this big book, so I get all the Death of Superman guys to sign. It collects all the comics. So that's kind of cool. So some guys offer freebies, like Dave Johnson, who's like the premier Deadpool cover artist, and this is the guy who did the art for Superman Red Sun. This guy's good. Let's see. So he was really nice. Like, I got him to sign 2 books at a time versus the 1 freebie at a time. So he bent the rules for me. I really respect that. I thought that was really nice of him. Let's see. I was trying to get to some big stuff here. Okay, so here's a biggie. So Jim Shooter was there this year. Jim Shooter is it was the editor, one of the editors after Stan Lee. He was one of the guys in charge of Marvel, like pre-Casada, like after Stan Lee. This guy he's around for the long haul. This guy's like, he was an MVP to see. Unfortunately, because he's such a big deal, and this guy was behind Secret Wars and Spider-Man's Wedding. This is the guy who wrote the story that married off Spider-Man. It was $30 a signature for him. Pretty pricey, but again, this man's a journeyman. He's been there all throughout. Big stories. He actually came with this binder of like these museum pieces and like really great mementos. So it was like you kind of got your money's worth in a sense of like this guy brought these totems from his life in comics, which includes like he brought like 3 binders, like 3 museums worth of binders, including some really cool props, like really cool totems like this. Like he got a cell from Spider-Man, His Amazing Friends.
Uh-huh.
And Stan Lee gave it to him. He wrote, Stan Lee autographed it and everything, and he did this little kind of speech bubble gag for him. It's Jim Shooter's birthday.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see. So let me just fire through some cosplays here. This is some cool cosplays along the way. Kind of saw there. Got the Scarlet Witch and Black Widow.
Cool.
Got some WandaVision from the Halloween episode. Got again the Lady Thor and Cap here with in front of the actual shield.
Uh-huh.
Kingpin.
For some reason, that one works with the mask. I don't know why.
I know he's got like the purple mask because it goes with like the color scheme of the Kingpin, which is great. I mean, he's a little svelte, but he looks amazing.
Let's
see. There's a Wildcat and Wonder Woman.
Nice.
You never see any Wildcat, Tiki. I was really impressed with this one. Plus, the face mask really worked on him too.
Yeah.
There's a little Harley Quinn for you.
Nice.
Got Starfire and Raven, and I did ask them. They were OG Teen Titans fans. Not Teen Titans Go. So this is like classic, Teen Titans.
I would hope so.
I mean, sometimes you get those, Tiki. That's why you gotta. That's why you gotta check. Especially,
I'm saying if you're a big enough fan to go to a Comic-Con, really, that's the Teen Titans you prefer.
Yeah. Let's see. You got the Polka Dot Man, and you'll notice polka dots coming out of the hands, which is really neat.
Uh-huh.
Okay, this is the one that melted my heart. So you have Falcon Cap, but not just Falcon Cap. Look at 3 generations of Falcon.
Oh, that's cool.
Look at that. And then notice this guy actually has the Falcon mask painted onto his head.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so there's that. So again, that looks great. And you have like the kid, and then also you'll notice Falcon has like Red Wing as the bird, not the drone, as the bird.
Sure.
Let's see, and there's like a group shot of a whole bunch of them too. Is that like the Wrecker? You got the Falcon Cap. You have, I believe, the Voodoo, the Dr. Voodoo, I believe, or something along those lines. Lady Sif, I think, and Prowler. Oh, Ghost Rider, with the motorcycle.
I like the fire on his skull. Looks cool.
Yeah. If I'm right, this thing that's the bike right now. He can carry comics in that, I think.
Oh, nice.
He might be able to. Just give him like how it's like a dolly if you look.
Uh-huh.
All right, let's see. Get another shot. This guy basically ticked off. Hey, why are you on your phone? Hey. Hope that was kind of funny. All right, so then I was going to go to the costume contest here, just to kind of bridge off the comic theme. With Morty and Planetina, little couple's costume here. Nice. And when they were walking the stage,
I like the Meeseeks mask.
And during the con, this is the set. The Hard Rock Cafe sponsored the contest. You'll notice Agatha from WandaVision. Agatha Harkness. She's narrating. She's basically hosting the convention, listing off everyone's names.
Nice,
and everything.
Nice.
So all the Wanda.
Also, that's a fucking random sponsor.
Yeah.
Hard Rock Cafe is not that out. Like I didn't even know the Hard Rock. Like I know there's like a Hard Rock hotel at Universal, but that's about the biggest presence of the Hard Rock Cafe I know.
I don't know if it's still around. I know in the Inner Harbor there was a Hard Rock Cafe. I don't know if it's still around. I assume it is, given this. Otherwise, it's a really random pool. All right, let's see. So then we have.
I've told you about Hard Rock Park, haven't I?
Briefly.
Yeah, very, very failed theme park in oh god, where was it? Oh shit. Oh, I don't want to derail this, so it's okay.
Okay, let's see. This is a really good one. This is an inventive one. This guy placed in the contest. I think he might have won like a special category, but not like the all-time winner. Bender as a puppet.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and he actually make the eyes look angry and everything. It comes
Uh-huh.
like a martini in the other hand when he's walking the stage. So that was cool. Let's see what else here. Oh, President Loki taking a
Nice.
bow. There's emo Peter Parker again. Yeah, there were a whole bunch. It was like not all of them made the cut here, but these are the ones that jumped out to me. There's Lady Thor again, Jane Foster Thor, and oh, this is funny. This is Galactus as a member of the Suicide Squad,
Nice.
and you'll notice he's got like a lunchbox with Stan Lee and everything on it. And inside, the gag is he's eating planets from the lunchbox. So that's cool. And then let's see. I believe we have so we have Iron Man, which is really cool. Looks really sweet. And then we have the big winner of the contest. So we'll definitely earn the win here, right? Oh, sorry, not him. But here's the thing. The Green Army Man got the most riotous applause I ever heard. Like everyone
Really?
lost their minds. Like the Green Army, he made the pose and everything. He had like he made like the freeze pose.
I
It was
just
bad.
remember that one very brief interaction I had with the Green Army Man in Toy Story Land, where I just took the quick selfie with him, and he was like, "Thank you, sir. Enjoy playtime."
So the Green Army Man got a great applause, but here next is the winner. Mando.
Oh God! Oh, forget about it. That looks totally screen accurate.
It does, and it's so amazing. Oh my God, Tiki.
Oh, by the way, Dragon, have you seen the Disney costumes this year? Are absolutely fucking horrific. Like the Luca costumes are just nightmare fuel. But there is one Mando costume where it's actually for a wheelchair, for a kid's wheelchair, and basically it's like you've got the helmet, and then you have like these cardboard cutout panels that you put onto the wheelchair that form the Razor Crest.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think that's really badass. It's like in a sea of terrible Disney costumes this year, I think that one really rises to the occasion.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, this is so again, I love it has like the little Baby Yoda in the pouch too, which is just great.
And Baby Yoda is hanging off of one of the sides, of course.
Oh, it's even better.
Yeah.
So then again, here's another shot of it, and then here's my favorite shot when he pretty much like when he won, he got the applause. That's great. And again, look there's Agatha right there. Also with the matching mask too, I just noticed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. All right, so then so in the day I also met Robert Venditti, who's doing the Superman 78 comic, and he was great. That's why I had Christopher Reeve on the mind earlier.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he's been doing great. He was really nice, and he told me he'd love to cross over the Batman 89 comic with the Superman 78 comic for sure. They haven't given him the green light yet. He just figures it's like a no-brainer. So he's been doing a great job with that. Basically, what Superman 3 should have been is what he's doing right now with Brainiac as the bad guy. So
nice.
that's cool. Okay, let me shout out. So I met someone. So one of the writers I was going to just get some stuff signed. I didn't really have like a huge investment in her, but someone who knocked my socks off. Kami Garcia. She's both a YA novelist. She works for both, oddly, the most adult and the most kid-friendly imprints of DC Comics right now. The young adult one. She's doing like the whole Beast Boy Starfire kind of romance novel YA thing. And she's also done the Black Label, which is the more like it's like the Marvel Max version of DC. And she's been writing this Harley Quinn book called Harley Joker Criminal Sanity. And yeah, it was she completely sold me on it. She had the heck of a sales pitch, Tiki. I mean, I bought a couple of the comics. I never finished the story because it kind of lost me at a point, but she resold me on it. Like she put in the research, man. She told me like it's forensically accurate. She contacted people in the bureau and the business and everything, and she dotted all the I's, and there's like a collection of it which kind of made changes from the original story. So like, she and her artist really like sold me on it. And basically they kind of coerced me into buying it the next day, and I kind of promised I would, and I did. So I mean, they had a heck of a sales pitch, right? I had no intention of buying that book, but it was they were very passionate about what they did. I haven't heard people put as much research in that comic as Scott Snyder when he did the research for the Court of Owls. So it was warranted. All right, let's see. So let me get back to the sketched art story.
Okay.
So these guys. So I'm walking by. So they're at the same. Comedy Garcia's at the same table as Tom King. All the Batman town was like at the same table. So I'm walking back, and I notice at the corner of my eye the hardcover of the Vision books there. After I bought the soft cover, I get incensed. So I pull one of these sketched art ladies aside. Hey, excuse me, miss. And I ask him like, what's up, and I basically ask, what's the deal, man? I asked you earlier, you didn't have the hardcover. Now you do. They say they acquired one again, which I don't know how that works. So basically, I asked, can we swap this? And she swapped it. We were able to swap it. Unfortunately, I had to pay the difference in the price, but still,
that makes sense.
It does, but
think that's
you
only
feel like it
fair.
would be a nice apology, though. Like, when are we going to swap this? I didn't have to wait in line, which is a good point. I guess that balances out at the end of the day. She did off to the side, like got him the sign and gave it back, and I didn't have to wait in like the ginormous line, which is what I was hoping for. And they made it right, I guess, and it all is fair is fair. And essentially, again, it's not much of an overcharge because the hardcover is hard to find now, which is why I hoped it would be at the convention at this booth. And it was, so I got the book out signed, so that it all worked out there. So thankfully, the sketch art people did right for a change by the end. It's still like breathing. We need more money. We've got to have money. So, okay, I get the Kobler sketch after that. I go to art. I go by him, and I get the Sandy Brandenburg sketch. It looks like this.
Nice.
Yeah, very nice. Let's see. Okay, so after that. Oh yeah, so then I go to Artist Alley, and there's a guy's artwork that really catches my eye. A guy by the name of Nick Justice, spelled Justus.
Okay.
He had a number of Batman the Animated Series inspired prints that tantalized me to no end, and they were works of beauty, my friend.
Dragon, this is just like a very Batman the Animated Series centric con for you, it seems.
And I mean, Saturday was dressed to the T for Batman, so there is a theme.
Yeah, it worked out.
Well, Tiki, I have a weakness for Batman the Animated Series in terms of my merchandising. Is that if I see Batman the Animated Series, it's I have a hard time not buying it. I really do.
Sure.
It's a sickness, but So here's some of those prints. This one is, I think, the best from Sub-Zero.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah, and he was working on a sketch. I would have loved to buy if it was a print, but he was doing it as a commission, so I couldn't do that. He made it was Victor Fries from the Holiday Nights comic where he was at Nora's grave covered in snow.
Oh, nice.
I know I wanted it so badly. I wish it was a print, but it was. But again, so this is still beautiful too. This is from the Deep Freeze episode or Sub-Zero, take your pick. I think technically Deep Freeze, which is also a great underrated episode no one ever talks about. Anyway, so then you have a print like this, which is the recreate.
All the Mr. Freeze episodes that aren't Heart of Ice are underrated.
That is true, and honestly, they're all good. They are frankly good, but no one ever talks about them outside of Heart of Ice. So this is the recreation of the cover of Detective Comics number 27, but Batman the Animated Series.
Nice.
My favorite detail.
Very cool, to quote Red Letter Media.
My favorite detail, the guys on the roof that Batman fights during the animated series opening are used as the witnesses in the comic. So the silhouetted like guys that Batman's punching on the roof. They're right there. They're bearing witness. It's cool. And a very lovely Poison Ivy. Yeah, looks great. All right, let's see. So then, there was another. Just again, basically, I was in Artist Alley, so I bought the art on day 2, so that stupid top loader would not come in handy for a second day.
Oh God.
So there was another guy, Sean Carlson, who did these beautiful kind of like I don't know if expressionistic is the word, but kind of like a paint spatter sort of effect. It looks like this. The Endgame cap.
I don't necessarily. Yeah, that's not really expressionistic.
Yeah,
I don't know what you would call that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of like a spattering, like the paint's kind of like almost like a very 2001 sort of influence.
Expressionistic would be like splotches of color that like vaguely resemble the character.
That's what I'm saying. So expression is not the right word,
yeah.
But it's like kind of like the color coming off, like a windstorm of color. This is basically the guy's style.
Almost kind of has like an airbrush effect to it.
Sure. So there's Endgame cap. There's kind of a Batman cityscape. It looks very Alex Ross Batman. I liked it.
Yeah.
And Falcon Cap.
Nice.
Yeah. All right, and I believe and this, and one more, and then we'll move on. Little Peggy Carter.
I
And
approve of
Trish
that one.
Forstner. Unfortunately, this is not Captain Carter. See, no one at the con. I checked everywhere. No one has Captain Carter because What If just wrapped up in October.
Oh yeah,
So
that
no
makes
one,
sense.
no Legos, nothing. I bought some Legos this day. I bought like a set of Captain America Legos. Essentially, I bought like Falcon Cap. I got Endgame Cap. I got John Walker Cap with like the bloody shield. By the way, as like a bloody shield. I also
Oh
got
yeah.
I got something I've been looking for a long time. They never had a good Lego of it until now. I bought the Kingpin Lego.
Nice,
Because
nice.
they just made like the leg. I hate the Legos that are just giant, like they aren't like brick shaped, because they make them like, oh, it's like a giant, like it just looks like a like the fat Kingpin, like it's just that's a toy, that's not a Lego.
Uh-huh.
So I finally got that off my bucket list. It goes with the rest of the Netflix guys I've been collecting at these cons, so that's good. All right, so that brings us to the end of Saturday. Now we're officially on Sunday for the duration of our visit.
All right.
Okay, so part 3 of Monster Mania. The happy chapter. Okay, so unexpected highlight of the convention, Tiki. Completely unexpected. Dana DiLorenzo, who was from Ash vs. Evil Dead, who I definitely wanted to see. I wasn't sure how far I was going to go. I think I was just going to go for the selfie option, but Dana DiLorenzo, she plays Kelly from the show, like one of the 3 leads of the show.
Uh-huh.
Tiki, she was the best possibly the best interaction of the whole Monster Mania. She was so
I'm sorry.
pleasant.
Her name's Danny Di Lorenzo.
Dana DiLorenzo.
Dana D. Okay, I'm sorry. That's just really weird because there's like a very random, like not really not a very significant Survivor player by any means, named Danielle Di Lorenzo.
So that's trippy. So anyway, Dana DiLorenzo. She was so pleasant and energetic. My God, she was like the complete opposite of Galligan.
Oh God, yeah, you needed a pick me up, man.
That's what I'm saying. So she was like the complete opposite of that, and she was like a dream come true. I expect I was gonna like yeah, I loved the show, and Kelly was great in the show. I love this bit from the show, like that sort of stuff. I told her I told her about like the cross thing, like basically Ash buried, like her parents were Jewish, and he put a cross on their graves, which is like the moment they kind of cemented their friendship. I felt, and I told her that. But yeah, she couldn't she was so into it. Tiki, she brought one of the evil Ash puppets. There was a puppet that she fought in the show, and they manufactured as like as a collectible. And she brought, and she got when people took pictures with her, she would bring it out. So she got so into it, like she would have the puppet attack people or pose with her because she got into a fight scene with this thing. And she was Tiki. She was an utter dream, and just so yeah, she was a beauty. She was really nice, just so lovely and sweet. I can't say enough nice things about Dana DiLorenzo. She was a fan of the show as well. We commiserated over how we liked the ending of the show and still wanted more and everything. So
Nice.
things worked out nicely there. So back to the Youngling line. So back to the line. That is basically the line went till the start and close of the convention. I'll have you know. So I finally have reached the end before the close of business, but really up to practically the end of the close of business. And when you're in the room, Tiki, this is the same room I met Bruce Campbell in the years previous. So it's the same exact location. They want to put the premier talent in this one room, like the biggest draw in the room. So the only voice you can hear is his, because everyone just like that. Everyone kind of goes silent because you hear the man telling his stories.
Oh,
and holding
so it's like even if you're not interacting with him, you kind of get the bonus of like hearing all these stories.
Exactly, you hear all the stories.
Nice. That's cool,
which is great. And he's sharing all these anecdotes and everything. And I finally get up there, and I told him, I told him about so the whole I'm more of a behind the scenes guy, and I love the whole like Never Sleep Again documentary. I kind of fumbled for a bit there because Galligan shook my confidence. He saved me, unlike Galligan. It's like I was, for some reason, because I've been promoting Blinky 500 to a few folks at the con because talking about horror stuff and
nice
shorts that he did.
Yeah,
and I kind of blanked on the title for a millisecond.
By the way, just a shout out to them. They've got his Candyman short is coming out, I believe, this weekend.
Yeah, it should be like the eve of Halloween, I think, because Halloween's on Sunday. It should probably be like
look out for that, folks.
Oh yeah, for sure. So yeah, I kind of blanked. I was going to say the same one of the different Kruger titles or something. I was going to say like The Nightmare Ends on Halloween. I said that at
Oh
first,
no! Oh
and
god!
then I basically I recorrected myself like mid sentence. Like no, The Nightmare. I kind of stumbled for a second. He filled it in. You mean Heather's documentary? Yes, yes. Never Sleep Again. Yes.
Nice,
So
nice.
so
Yeah.
yeah.
I love
Anyway,
that he knows what you're talking about so much that he's like on a first name basis with the director. That's awesome.
yeah. Well, also she was the girl from the movies, Tiki. She was Heather Langenkamp, the Nancy from the movies.
Yeah, sure, but still.
But you're right, though.
You know,
Yes, absolutely. He recognized it, though.
like that, it's much different than like, Super Bowl commercial. What?
Yeah, it wasn't any of that.
Wasn't
No.
my daughter.
I want to be clear. I don't hate Galligan or anything. I was a little let down by how that interaction went. I think it could have been a little more lively. Is all.
Do you know who I am? I'm Elroy Jetson.
Wasn't Bam Bam the cab driver in that?
Yes, I think so. Yes.
Yeah. All right, okay, so here's something really sweet that he did here. And again, so let me rant on the shadows for a second here.
Oh God. Okay.
Okay, so the shadows again. So the shadows they've been not as helpful as they could have been. Like they're giving some they're directing people to where they're supposed to go here, and I'm like asking like, hey, what point A and point B, and they're like smoking outside and that sort of stuff. Where I mean, it's like guys, you're on the job. You really want to do that right now while you're outside directing people? It's like it's a minor thing, but it's the fact that these guys seemingly have not been managing the line that well, which is why it's gone on for so long. Because again, England loves the chat, which I can't fault him for. But by the same token, that's why it's been taking all the convention long to get people through the line. And it just feels like you shouldn't rush people. By the same token, though, perhaps some management could be tightened up around England. So because things have probably mismanaged up to that point, we get to like the 11th hour. They're worried that they're going to have to cap that line at some point. You're going to have a lot of unhappy because I wasn't there for Saturday, but I heard that they really screwed the pooch on Saturday with the England line. Like there was like a whole bunch of people, VIPs possibly even, they had to be turned away because like the line got capped or something because they screwed up so badly. So these guys have had kind of a reputation for not doing that, not managing this well at all. So I get up there and I'm having my moment with England, but the shadows are like standing right behind them.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So there's some implied pressure, which I did not appreciate.
Yeah.
Which is kind of adding on, like, we got a lot of people behind you, and it's like, it should be my time, darn it. So, and again, it's like, I get it, but like, guys, you should have done this earlier.
Right,
So this would be a problem. Anyway, so again, I'm a little rushed here, but again, I tell him like, long stay, again, I got everything I needed out there, but before I left, so I can get it in there, I tell him, oh, by the way, I love your voice work. I love you. You as the Vulture in Spectacular Spider-Man was amazing. You and the Riddler and the Batman cartoon, like that was, I love what you did there. You are like the voice of the Vulture, the best they've ever done for that character. So he appreciated that when he did. Yeah, another reason for me. I'm going to blame the shadows. I don't think it was technically them. I'm just going to blame it anyway because they ticked me off a little. So England did a really sweet thing. He gave me. They have like a whole bunch of 8x10s that he signs, and he signed one. I picked from a table, and next to him was a cell of all the animated characters he voiced. Now, had that been on the other table, I would have just gotten that signed.
Right.
It wasn't, so I'm a little cheesed off about that. And he didn't sign the extra one, but still, it was the gesture like, "Hey, you like the anime stuff? Here you go." He gave me the picture.
Yeah, that's nice.
Which is nice. It's nice. Yeah, so that was really sweet. And then I had a trippy interaction, which basically puts an end to the Monster Mania. So I had met Kane Hodder, the first Monster Mania, and I really wanted to because I find his story so inspiring and fascinating, more than just him being Jason. I love the whole the burn victim story and everything, just what happened there. So I'd hoped to maybe get his autograph, but it wasn't like a big like on the top of my list because I had met him, I got a picture with him. That's what was important to me. So I was hoping to get him, but again, because England took so long, he basically he left. But as I was walking down to see him, he crossed my path in the hallway, and he says, "Oh, hey, Kane." He's like, "Hey." just a chance like encounter in the hallway. Of course, I was kind of bummed out when I found out, that was him leaving. But still, I saw him again. He was like, "Hey,
yeah, for sure."
just passing Jason in the hallway. Oh, hey, how's it going, man? So that was nice. And on the way out, I bought some cool holographic prints of like Back to the Future and the Tick, so that was kind of cool.
All right.
Yep, and that brings us to Sunday for the Comic-Con. That's kind of our the grand finale act. All right. Okay, so Sunday, let's see. So Sunday, I had planned out to be the easy day. I get all the hard stuff
I was
done.
gonna say, like, I'm doing like the math in my head, and like, this can't be. You couldn't have been there for too long because you split the day up, and then you also had time to do a podcast that day as well. So
Exactly. So the horror. Sorry, not the horror. I'm moving on from there. The the Comic Con ends early on Sunday. It always has. It goes from 10 to 5, and because unfortunately, and this always frustrates me to no end, Tiki. I'm going to rant about something else I forgot about too earlier. I'm going to get that in there after this. So just a rant for a moment. They always schedule the Comic-Con at inopportune times because around this, I don't know what their logic is because this can't possibly correlate the way they want it to, given comic book fans and sports fans. They always time it around a sporting event, like there's like a Ravens game going on. So there's a football game, which means traffic will be a nightmare if you don't leave early, or like an Orioles game one year, or there's this and that, and so it's always like ridiculously timed. Like, sporting fans are not going to go to the convention, okay? There's going to be a small number of them going there. So what business are you trying to get, really? You're just making it hard on everyone else. So because of that, I'm leaving at 4. I'm not even going to stay till 5. So yeah, it's a short day. And beyond that, something that just irritates me to no one throughout the whole convention. They have a guy on a loudspeaker announcing the things that are in the book. They're like, hey, the costume contest is happening. But unfortunately, it's not like a useful announcement like that. It's like, hey, everyone, check this person out, or he has entered the building. Like, and these loudspeaker announcements happen
somewhere.
And they always happen at the inopportune moments, where either you're on the phone or the worst case, when you're talking to somebody that you stood in line to meet, like, hey, you're about to say something, and then, attention, everybody.
Oh, that sucks. Yeah.
And again, we can barely hear each other already with the mask and everything, so this is not helping. This is the worst it's ever been of any of the years, because, again, people can barely hear each other now. So that's irritating to no one. Anyway, so Sunday's been planned out to be the easy day because of these factors, and because I took care of Tom King in advance already. So that's the hefty line. So anyway, and also there were additional cancellations, so my load has been lightened a little bit, much to my dismay. Like Carl Kessel was supposed to be there to sign my big Superman book with all the Death of Superman players in it. He canceled. He's not there. Sean Chen, that guy's gonzo. It's irritating. So anyway, the problem is, though, I have a lot of people to meet, but the good news is none of these people, with the exception of 1 or 2 tops, are supposed to have massive lines. You just walk up to these guys, get your stuff signed, and move on. But it's a bigger number of people to meet. So I'm on a clock. Okay. So let's see. Let's see. Oh, let me transition here just to give you kind of a little. I'm wearing this during the day. I'm wearing my Captain America shield backpack, and I'm wearing my favorite line. I have a mask. that has this saying too, so I'm wearing this and a matching mask that says "I'm with you till the end of the line."
Wait, blue. So you double the? That's interesting.
Yeah, so I have a mask because I love this shirt so much, and it's my favorite moment in the entire MCU. I'm with you till the end of the line. I have a shirt for it. And I bought a mask for it when we were buying masks with cool stuff on it. So I bought one that goes with the same people that sold the shirt. They put the patterns on all sorts of things like coffee mugs and mask and you name it. So I wore that along with my Captain America backpack. So I was all capped out. Anyway, so the idea of my folks were coming this day so they could get pictures of me with people with the shield and the whole thing. So it looked nice. Anyway, so as I'm wearing this, then we have there's kind of another. I don't know if this is the same Mando guy or not for the won the costume contest on Sunday, but this guy had like a radio playing the whole time. That's what's on his wrist right there. It's his phone playing music. Yeah. All right. So, anyways, I'm going to the con. I had help thanks to my folks this day. Again, the chairs were available for my poor father this year, which I'm very delighted by because he has bad foot problems like yours, but pretty much times 10, if you will. So let's see. So I go to the Superman artist Jerry Ordway, who usually has a line. So he's the guy we're lining up for, and the line wasn't bad, but here's what was bad. It took an hour. It took him an hour and a half to get there. That's not great. You know, on a time crunch day, that's not great.
Sure.
But meanwhile, while they're waiting in that line, I'm taking care of business. I'm getting a whole bunch of people signed. I'm meeting some people like Becky Cloonan. You know, I did like the Gotham Academy book and stuff like that. It broke my heart to learn that one of the guys I was going to see, he did the art for the Spider-Man the animated series tie-in books, Alex Savuk, if I'm saying that right. He was charging $10 per book. I couldn't do it. It's just highway robbery. I couldn't do it. It's a no-go. It's not going to the Heroes Initiative, nothing. It's just like, no, like, no. So speaking of finances, so on Sunday, you remember that that Batman the Animated Series Warner Brothers collection I told you about?
Yes.
So the siren got me.
Oh God.
I made an insane purchase on Sunday.
Oh dear. Okay. Okay.
This is the Tiki. This is the most I've ever spent at any of the conventions ever for an item. So this booth, because Saturday something slipped through my fingers. In retrospect, I really kind of want it, but yeah, it was a shame. It was like the QVC piece of like this giant. They had these giant frame pictures from the Warner Brothers store, and one of them was like a giant cell with the laughing fish that Batman and Joker on. Mark Hamill signed it, and it was great. It was an absurd amount of money, and Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill advertised on QVC back in the day for the Warner Brothers store. Anyway,
oh God.
so that slipped through. That was gone Saturday, unfortunately, because if that were there Sunday, I would have gotten that. So Sunday rolls around, and I'm thinking I'm just going to buy like something smaller, which is going to be, I'm going to get like this wall placard of Batman, which is I can probably whittle down from 140 to $100, and get this this commemorative Batman the Animated Series plate, which is Batman Two-Face duking it out, which is really cool. And that was marked down from 65 to 45, so that's sort of. So I was thinking that's what I was going to get, which is it's comparatively it's much reasonable to what I ended up with. So
okay.
For the life of me, I was just checking. Yeah, you don't still have that Batman Joker piece, do you? And so they're checking the things like no. Then they add some other animated series stuff, but again, arm and a leg, which includes this piece, which they forgot about. They completely forgot. These guys, again, they're not retail. This is the first year they brought a collection they were hoping to clean up on it, and they believe me, they did. They cleaned up on it. So yeah, these guys, they basically got this. They inherited this private collection from somebody, and they had this item that was completely hidden away for the other 2 days. That was made it available to me on Sunday. So as you'll notice, so this is like the SIGGRAPH. I don't know if it's SIGGRAPH, it's Psychograph, or it's a lithograph with a fancy name. That is the lithograph of the opening of Batman the Animated Series. They only made 500 of them. This is number 242. Includes like a little film cell of the opening to Batman the Animated Series. And you'll notice, and here's what made it irresistible, Tiki. All the producers of Batman the Animated Series signed it. Bruce Timm, Paul Dini, Alan Burnett, Eric Radomski, and our boy from Freakazoid, Tom Ruger.
Oh yeah.
So this was irresistible to me, and it was like, and the fact is, you do not see this piece often, if ever, really, let alone signed. And it was certified and everything. You don't have to go to get it appraised or anything. This thing is signed to the teeth and everything. So there's a few other images of it. Here's another view, and there's like the close-up of the signature, just in case, and there you go. Yeah. So, yeah, I ended up getting this. It was cumbersome as all get out during this easygoing Sunday convention. I did not expect to buy this. I believe me, I did not end up getting that plate or that maquette because this thing it was not in the budget after this thing. I won't tell you how much it was, but I did get him to whittle it down. And here's the touching thing. My father kind of helped me in the moment because he, again, kind of helped me when we worked out like an arrangement because, again, it was awfully pricey and, we settled up and everything. But the point being, this I learned, those guys are rooting for me to get something here because I complimented them on the collection all 3 days. And because, again, I was just salivating over everything in that booth. And basically they informed me that the person, I had no idea about this. The reason they inherited this collection is that one of the guys' fathers passed, and that's where he got the entire collection from. He was so happy he was going home to me because I appreciate it, and also my father was there my father was there when I bought it too. So again, it was kind of a nice little kind of full circle moment. When I was leaving the convention, This guy, they did not want to. They were going back to Atlanta. They did not want to bring. They wanted to bring as few things back with them as possible because they were hoping to sell it all at the show. They were giving away things like in boxes. Unfortunately, not the plate and the maquette. These are like things that are less expensive, but still kind of cool and valuable to a degree. So they just like, hey, you want? They called me over. Hey, take anything that you want. So I got they got some animated series stuff. I got some corgi cars. I got as much as I could carry in 2 arms.
Oh man.
So I kind of recouped as much as I could from that investment. But this is again. I got 2 Dream Batman the Animated Series items. I got like all the men who made Batman the Animated Series possible having signed this, and the grappling gun.
Nice.
So so let me see. So beyond that, I got some sketches done. I got a custom a sketch of one of our favorites of Kim Wexler from Better Call Saul.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah, there's a close up view of it. Yeah.
What's the sign?
Better Call Saul. It's the billboard.
Oh yeah, okay, I see it. Yeah.
So they indicate Better Call Saul somewhere in there. It was either that or the Wexler McGill sign, but I figured, it's like it's looming over her future anyway. Why not?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. So after that, let's see. Almost done here. So after I made the insane purchase, I'm picking up some artwork here. Let's see. Oh yeah, look at this.
Oh my, that's glorious.
Okay, I didn't buy this, but I have a story with this.
That's fucking glorious.
I know, right? I was just so good.
I got to admit, that is something that I would probably spring for.
Yeah, this was, as you can see, it's $60, but it was.
I would do it. I would do it.
Okay, now let me tell you who did this.
Okay.
Okay, so I was in Artist Alley when I got the Ray Seahorn thing done. So Garth Ennis, the man who created The Boys and Preacher and a bunch of.
Oh yeah.
So now Garth Ennis is the writer, okay? So he was next to one of the artists from The Boys, the underrated artist from The Boys. Like the artist, basically The Boys in the comics had like a number of artists, like different arcs in the comics. This is like the last arc of The Boys, because The Boys is a completed story. This guy, this is the guy who ended The Boys art-wise. So he was doing sketches and stuff, and he was selling artwork. And this guy, Russ Braun was also a Disney animator, Tiki. Nice. He had worked on Lilo and Stitch and Mulan. He was there during I believe, Florida years.
Yeah, those are both Florida movies. Yeah,
sure. He animated Jumba, and he had like not originals of Jumba, but he'd like sketches of Jumba and Lilo and Stitch. You would have loved to meet this guy, Tiki.
Totally,
and he had some Mulan sketches and everything. I was itching towards them, but on Sunday he decided to do $20 sketches, head sketches, which is up my alley price wise. So I figured, why not have like the guy? Here's the thing, I've met Garth Ennis once, and I've always wanted to meet him again. Unfortunately, because I got so busy during this con, I wasn't able to take in the panel or get in line. Garth Ennis has an inordinate line. I didn't end up getting in line for him, but I talked to a guy about Garth Ennis and about the stuff that he did and about The Boys. So I got to talk to this Russ Brand guy about how he felt about The Boys, how it's been adapted, and that sort of stuff. So yeah, he was a delight, and he did this for me. I added him to my Sandy Brandenburg collection. He did a head sketch of her for me, like this.
Nice.
And again, the pattern being Sandy with a little indicator of Deadpool, in this case, a necklace. All right, let's see. I believe that, almost. So I ran across this lady in Artist Alley, and she did amazing work. Oh my God, I'm head over heels for her work. She, whole bunch of MCU artwork. So all the ladies.
Like MCU meets Disney. I like it.
I know. I love her art. So this artist's name is Erin Leffler. Okay. She her artwork is amazing. She's got a podcast where she interviews other artists. It's on YouTube. It's called The Drawing Board. I haven't checked it out yet, but I'd recommend it.
That sounds like I might have actually heard that before. Believe me.
Yeah, I've heard about it too. I know it's familiar to me too. I just haven't watched it. So yeah, her father was manning the table, and I was just gobsmacked by all this artwork on the table. And like he called her over, and she signed the stuff for me, and we negotiated some prices and everything. And so this is a print of like all the Marvel characters, basically the end of Endgame, along with like Peggy Carter and more, and also like Glenn Close from Guardians of the Galaxy. She's up there in the corner. There's Lady Sif. It's like all the women
just chilling.
Yep, there, I believe there's Frigga, Thor's mom. It's like they're all there. Oh, and there's Michelle Pfeiffer. There's Janet Van Dyne. Yeah, they're all there. Yeah, when there's little Monica Rambeau. Look at
Oh
her.
my god.
Yep. And there's her mom up there, and there's Shuri.
Jesus.
See, they're all it's beautiful.
I
Okay.
might be really dumb, but like, who's the small child that's to the left of Captain Marvel?
That's Morgan Stark. That's Tony's daughter.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So you remember she was wearing that during the shout
Yeah,
time,
sure,
that whole thing. All right. So also she's a big Captain Marvel fan. That's why Captain Marvel's kind of front and center there, apparently.
Uh-huh.
All right, so let's see. Let me just show you some more of her work here I bought. So she had these 2 books. Here's the thing. Her work was so good, Tiki, I could not simply pick. I had to limit the prints, otherwise it would have gone broke because I loved it so much. So she had so handily, like I wanted some Wanda prints from WandaVision. And she had this booklet pretty much of all of her WandaVision art. Like it's a little
Nice.
book. So I got all that. And again, also she had all of her Chris Evans and Captain America stuff. So it was basically not just Captain America, but all the Chris
But
Evans
just
works.
Chris Evans, just
Yeah, it had a whole bunch of
hey guys, what's up? I got a dog.
So yeah, she had work that she was at a convention that he was at once. So she
Okay.
did this book for all the Chris Evans people, all the people there, eager to see Chris Evans, like myself, if I were there. And all of his roles were in there too, like a bunch of his roles and like the promotional stuff he's done for Avengers, like the talk show circuits and everything. There, basically, that's how you get like
Dragon,
the beard.
I can't imagine like your mind would just like you would literally just have an aneurysm and die if you ever had the chance to meet Chris Evans.
Oh, it would be delightful for sure. I would. I need 20 cc's of something. But yeah, so that's the thing. So this has like a bunch of roles, like the role from Knives Out and Scott Pilgrim, and again his talk show
Nice, nice.
appearances, and the bearded Chris as well as some of the MCU stuff. And here's like a few pages. Like also, oh, this is really nice. Before I get to that, this you're gonna love this story. Okay, so the father who was there encouraged her to do certain prints and certain characters, and he pushed her to do like I believe she as well. Like they loved the Han Solo movie, and they did a picture of Han and Kira from the movie, and
This is
when they're
like the
making.
couple that like you and apparently everyone in your general area loves, but I'm just kind of like, yeah,
But
she's okay.
but I remember when we talked about it, you appreciated the whole I did the romance in the theater during that one view during that rewatch.
I
Like
appreciate it, yeah, but I don't get it. I appreciate the sentiment, but like,
that's what I'm saying. There's from as long as appreciating the sentiment. Here's the thing: is the fact
yeah,
that
yeah.
they loved that I loved this scene because I recognize. Oh my god, it's like the coat scene from Han's from Solo Star Wars. I
Oh my
love that scene, and they were like, "We us too." And the
god.
father threw this one in for free. This is like
Nice,
a big
nice.
print, So yeah, it's because we all kind of share like a mutual love for it. And yeah, so here's like a pages from the WandaVision stuff. There's
Okay,
Pietro.
that looks like straight like, hey, it's this character but designed in Disney
Yeah,
style.
kind of in the Paperman style,
That
right?
is straight Disney right there,
I
man.
know it's really good, right? Yeah. So again, she had pins. Tiki, you would have loved. She made pins of profiles of these characters too. You could have bought. So there's that Wanda, and of course there's a little bit of Scarlet Witch and the goodbye scene. Again, beautifully. This lady hits the emotions and the romance so well in the Disney-esque style. I love it.
Uh-huh.
And we have, of course, the ending of the end of Endgame. Peggy Carter and Steve Rogers. Love it. Okay, so there's that. All right, so let me tell you, rounding out here, I had a really meaningful encounter with a cosplayer on the last day. So during the costume contest, I ran across this guy in basically this guy in a Deadpool costume, pretty much from the Ryan Reynolds Deadpool movie, which of course you know me, I'm loving that. I love when we have these guys walk around the con, which has happened ever since the movie came out. So this guy, he was at the costume contest, and this is him at the contest. It's a little hard to make out, but he has like the kill count thing from. This guy's a huge fan of Deadpool, particularly the movie, the Deadpool movie, as well. And we had like this is going back to that Beauty and the Beast parody I showed you. Remember the whole like knowing the Gaston song, but it's the Deadpool version of it. That's what that whole little scroll is a reference to, his kill count and everything. So I get into a conversation about this because I wanted to see if he had the scroll on him after this is Saturday. I'm asking him on Sunday, does he still have this scroll so I can get a better picture of it? And he says, no, and sadly I don't. But I compliment him like, look, I love the fact that you had that scroll. I'm a huge fan of the movie. I've been loving that movie for 7 years. And he shared a really beautiful anecdote with me. He said, yeah, that movie saved my life. where he was very depressed and like he was really on the fringes in that movie. He was as invested as I was in that project, and it got him out. He actually was able to meet Ryan Reynolds too. Like I was just so touched by, oh my god, Deadpool put some good into the world. And then I'm not alone in the fact that I too was just on bated breath waiting for that movie, like going through all those years of production, just waiting for it.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a really that hit me in the feels really much. Also, I already talked about the Legos I got, so we don't have to cover that again. Got some of that, some Scarlet Witch too. And lastly, just a little visual image here. This is like an Etsy shop that actually has affordable prices compared to what most Etsy shops do. And you have the Tesseract in this case, and I was able to hold the Tesseract and everything. You'll notice the Black Panthers, the necklace and the Eye of Agamotto and the Infinity Stones, full set of them. Really cool stuff. Really cool. And that brings us to the end of the old convention experience there. So what do you think, boyo?
I think I'm never going to go to a convention for the rest of my life. You might want to switch it over to.
I know I'm switching. I'm just going to take me a second here, so you have to round it out.
No problem. Yeah, I don't know, Dragon. Like for me, it's like if I'm ever gonna like do the famous person thing, I'll probably like do the like what I did with Greg Sestero, where it's like a book signing. It's like I don't know, like. To me, like literally every time we do this, you always describe it it's always just like sounds like very cool people, sounds like very meaningful experiences with fellow fans. I will never do it for as long as I live. I mean, maybe one day I'll do D23 just to say I did it, right? Like,
yeah, at the very least, you got to try D23, Tiki.
If I do one con, it will be D23.
See, I want to do D23. I'll never be able to do, but you, Tiki, feasibly could do it.
I very feasibly could.
I want to live vicariously.
Right there, less than an hour plane ride away. Yeah,
I want to live vicariously through you with D23, Tiki. That's what I want.
Well, if you're gonna be, you'll probably be living vicariously through a bunch of panic attacks. But it is what it is.
Basically, if you ever do, I just want to know: did they have an area with all the button-up shirts? Did they have? I know it was there that one year. I want to know if they have the Ray. That's all you want to know.
You need me for that inside information. You can't just look it up.
No, I have no way of looking it up though. I need to, unless I sit through like a bunch of people telling me about their experience. I want to know if it was there from a source I can trust.
Dragon, maybe one day, but with the pandemic being what it is and everything, it's not something I'm like rolling over to spend money on right now.
No, I'm well aware. Sure. And I'll tell you one thing again on just the physical state. Day 3 again, you get so sore on day 3. I mean,
I can't fucking imagine, dude. Like, that's honestly like my big thing keeping me away from conventions is the standing for sure. All right.
Yep.
But just to wrap it up, Dragon, I feel like this year was it was an interesting yarn because I feel like okay, this is gonna sound really cheesy, but to sum it up in one statement, Dragon, and then you can give an outro if you want. I feel like what you taught us, Dragon, is it's not necessarily about the famous people, but it's about the friends that we meet along the way. Like that kind of sums it up, right? It's like this year, is like you definitely got some cool people in there, but it was. I feel like the bigger highlights were more just kind of like the interactions with, with the fans and the artists.
Hey, let me ask you this: would you prefer the Comic-Con or the Monster Con?
Oh, Monster Con, easily, no doubt about it.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's just more my speed as far as genre goes, and also just the smaller the better for me. So.
That's true, but it's all famous people, though.
Yeah. All
right. Well, folks, again, much like meeting friends along the way. Hopefully, some good friends, and also friends that will be with you till the end of the line. Let's say, because you're going to be waiting until the end of the line with them.
That's it. That's your outro.
Making it sound like it's not that good, but
okay, fair enough. Have a good night, folks.
I'm gonna grapple away.
Now dig all this.